The MLB on Fox Sports 1 pregame is brought to you by Chevrolet as we welcome you to Minneapolis and Target Field, where the Twins are a contender again, and there's a buzz in this ballpark as we get set for Game 3 of this set. It looked like last night the Tigers would take a 2-0 series lead after winning Game 1 4-2. They hammered 3 home runs and led 6-0 into the 8th inning behind Justin Verlander with his best start of the season. He gave up a run in the 8th, went into the 9th with a 6-1 lead. The Twins started to chip away against Rondon and then against Soria. And Brian Dozier wound up coming to the plate after the Santana single, launching a 3-run home run to win it for the Twins. And the Twins becoming the first team in 2 seasons to win a game after trailing by 5 or more, entering the 9th inning. And with all of that, we say welcome inside. Joe Davis with C.J. Nitkowski. You know, the last 4 years, the Tigers have won the American League Central every year. And in the same time frame, the Twins have lost at least 90 games every season. But here we are now reaching the All-Star break. These 2 teams neck and neck.
And this division really coming into the 2015 season was supposed to be one of the better ones in baseball. But a lot of teams were counting out the Minnesota Twins. Certainly their fans and certainly these players have not. It's been a good year so far in Minnesota.
Brian Dozier obviously a big part of that. Last night became the first player since the Twins moved from Washington to hit 2 walk-offs in the same week.
And a lot of times we're talking about Torrey Hunter being a leader on this team, but Brian Dozier is the heart and soul. This guy plays the game with an incredible passion. 19 home runs on the season, and a lot of people want to know, why is he not going to Cincinnati to be an all-star this year?
Lost out on the American League final vote. Mike Moustakas becoming the 7th Royal on the American League All-Star team, winning that vote yesterday. The Tigers, meanwhile, are now 1 week into their stint without their star slugger Miguel Cabrera. They've continued to hit. J.D. Martinez has continued to hit. He's been one of the most productive mashers in big league baseball the last month.
Well, a lot of people knew that the Detroit Tiger lineup was going to be long, and certainly losing Miguel Cabrera is a big loss. But J.D. Martinez has really stepped up his game. You see the home runs right there. And think about where he was just over a year and a half ago. Let go by the Houston Astros. He has been fantastic for this Tigers ball club.
He will face off with Phil Hughes of the Twins. It's Alfredo Simon taking the ball for the Tigers, trying to continue to solve their starting pitching issues. Game 3 in this 4-game set with the All-Star break looming comes up after this. humid Saturday afternoon. Joe Davis with C.J. Nitkowski ready for the third game of this 4-game series, and Brett Ausmus ready to send his lineup to the plate against Phil Hughes. He'll bat Ian Kinsler at the top of this lineup that's gone 44 and 42 this season. It sits right now third in the American League Central, coming into the game 8 games back of the Twins. The first pitch from Hughes to Kinsler misses inside, and away we go. Hughes has slowly improved over the last few starts. Twins have won each of his last 5 games that he started. He's quickly got a 1-1 count on Kinsler. He'll be followed by Yoenis Cespedes today. That's a move that Brett Ausmus made prior to the Miguel Cabrera injury, moving Kinsler from second to lead off, Cespedes from the middle to second. Victor Martinez and J.D. Martinez, Mark Krause and Nick Castellanos in the middle, James McCann, Jose Iglesias, and Rajai Davis rounding out the lineup.
There's a lot of talk going into the season who the leadoff hitter was going to be for the Detroit Tigers. They wondered about Anthony Gose, Rajai Davis, and now Ian Kinsler, who's a very good option when you think about trying to get some of your better hitters at the top of the lineup and a guy with a little bit of pop.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Kinsler. His power numbers are down this season, but a good sign for the Tigers in this series. 3 doubles and a home run. Hughes comes home with a 2-2. And sharply hit, foul. It stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 21 home runs allowed by Hughes this season. That's the most in the majors. So he's continued to pound the zone, leading the majors in strike percentage. Working today with Kurt Suzuki, bringing another 2-2. And starts his day with a strikeout of Kinsler. 1 gone.
What we know about Phil Hughes is that you're going to see a lot of cutters, and here's one at 91 miles an hour, well located outside of the zone, and that's something we're going to talk about a lot with Phil Hughes today. He throws a lot of strikes, but sometimes he needs to go out of the zone a little bit more than he has in the past.
Well, over his first 13 starts, he had an ERA around 5, but in his last 4 games started, 3-0 with an ERA below 2.5. They're facing a Tigers lineup today. It's third in the majors, scoring more than 4.5 runs per game. Here's strike 1 to Yoenis Cespedes, who has dominated Phil Hughes in his career. He's 6 for 12, CJ, with 3 home runs against Hughes.
Well, there are certain guys you get in the box that you're comfortable against, and certainly Cespedes is very comfortable against Phil Hughes.
I looked that way there with a base hit to left.
When you think about Cespedes, who's a guy who is aggressive, who likes to swing, against a pitcher like Phil Hughes, who throws a ton of strikes, usually not a good matchup. As we see here for Phil Hughes today, the corners are okay. What I mean by that is it's okay for him to go corners and even off a little bit when you're looking at the strike zone. Like he said, a lot of times he splits the plate a little bit too much, and he's running into trouble with how many strikes he throws, which almost sounds a little ridiculous to say, but we saw that walk rate. And fill it up the strike zone is what he does. That is his strength. Ultimately, we're going to see a lot of that today. It's just a matter of staying at the middle of the plate against a very good hitting Detroit Tigers club.
Here's Victor Martinez, who went deep last night and hammers a fly ball to center routine for Aaron Hicks. Victor Martinez retired on 1 pitch. Cespedes holds it first. And 2 gone for J.D. Martinez. His Twins defense, especially in the outfield, much improved as far as the range they can cover with Rosario and Hicks. So Hunter, now the fielder that he once was, still a veteran presence in that outfield. In the middle infield with Santana and Dozier, they've turned more double plays than any defense in the American League.
As big as this outfield is, as Paul Mahler had told us before the game, and it is a big one, you want to make sure you have good quality defense in the outfield, guys that can cover some ground. And they felt like they've really made improvements in that area over the last couple of years.
How about J.D. Martinez over the last month? Hit his 15th home run in the last 24 games last night.
Power's been unbelievable, and as I talked about in the open, it's not even dead pull power. This guy can spray the field, hitting balls to right field, which is very difficult to do here and also in Comerica Park, but he's got the power to do it.
1 ball and 1 strike. second in the American League, third in the American League in home runs with 25 behind Trout. Pujols, third in RBIs as well, and has really turned it on over the last month or so.
See that swing right there, and squeezing one into 330 mark in Comerica in that camera. Well, not an easy thing to do, but he's become a very tough out, and he has really changed his career path after last April getting let go at the end of spring training prior to the 2014 season.
Home plate umpire Marty Foster
took a foul tip on this first pitch from Hill. He was right off the mask. Get his bell rung a little bit, but he looks like he's okay and ready to go.
It's a veteran crew. Foster and Wegner both in their 16th seasons in the big leagues. Mike Winters, a crew chief, quarter century as a big league umpire. 1 ball and 1 strike on J.D. Martinez with Cespedes at first and 2 gone in this first inning. One and 2. Former Houston Astro was released near the end of spring training last year, signed by the Tigers 2 days later, and after starting in AAA was called up not too long after and turned in the best season of his career, only to improve on those numbers already this season. Hughes tried to pitch a scoreless first.
And if you're wondering what the crowd was reacting to on that foul ball, that one went into the press box, and I believe it was Anthony Fennick from the Free Press on the Tigers beat who got the bad end of that ball. I don't know if he caught it or not.
I thought you were going to tell me he caught it.
I don't know if he caught it. I don't know if he knocked him down, and he's not in a seat anymore. So he has since left the first row. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Martinez hits a fly ball to right. Hunter, the edge of the warning track, he'll pull it in. And that does it for the Tigers in the first. Twins come up to bat after this. Paul Molitor, first season as manager, has the Twins 5.5 out. The American League Central, they've won 4 of 5 for the first time since May. It's been a roller coaster season for them, but playing good baseball right now. And Brian Dozier, who lead things off, been a big part of that. The veteran Torrey Hunter bats second, then Joe Mauer, then the 22-year-old phenom Miguel Sano with Plouffe, Rosario, Hicks, Suzuki, and Santana rounding out this Minnesota lineup. Go against Alfredo Simon, who was a bright spot in this rotation during the first 2 months of the season. His first 2 months in Detroit. But his last 4 starts, opponents hitting above 380 against him. He misses upstairs with ball 1 to Dozier.
And this is a path very similar to what Alfredo Simon did a year ago. As we take a peek at the numbers, and you talked about those last 4 starts in the ERA up over 10. He struggled in the second half last year. Not this bad, and obviously we're not to the second half just yet. But certainly the Tigers would like to see him get things turned around.
Castellanos there to catch the pop-up from Dozier. 1 quick out in his first inning. Tell us a little more about what Simon brings.
Well, we talked about the split personality, and that also kind of 2 ways to look at that. One, first of all, we talked about first half, second half. Looks like he's going that direction again, but also he uses his split finger more than any other starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. He has a tendency to fall in love with it. You have to be careful. You cannot fall in love with just one off-speed pitch. Sometimes that can get him in trouble. And stop the slide. The Tigers are not on any kind of losing streak, but last night was very disheartening. That was a tough loss for this team. You come in today a little bit flat. It's kind of his job to make sure he's picking the team back up. We talk about it all the time. Momentum is all about your next day starting pitcher. Alfredo Simon has to stop his own personal slide and also has to get the Tigers back on track.
Working against Torrey Hunter, who lifts one in the air to right. JD Martinez comes on for an easy play, and 2 retired. Take a look at our keys to the game, sponsored by Ford.
And for the Tigers, again, going back to last night, making sure they're having a short memory. That was disheartening. You say, that's just one game, it's just a loss. That was a tough one when you think about having a game in the bag and thinking that Justin Verlander was going to get that W. It didn't happen. On the Twin side, practicing patience today is going to be very important, as they haven't so far through the first 2 hitters, because you're going to see a lot of off-speed pitches from Alfredo Simon. That split finger that I talked about, the ability to lay off of that and be patient, make him work a little bit. You can maybe have him have one of those starts that he's recently had.
Joe Mauer takes ball 1. Quietly, Mauer's gotten it going for the Twins. Since the last week of June, he leads the American League in hits. 3-time batting champ, former MVP. Takes ball 2.
Of all the Minnesota Twins that played in the old ballpark, and obviously there's been a pretty decent amount of turnover since they've come here. This ballpark has affected Joe Mauer more than anybody else. A guy with some good power, had great power in his best years, and you come to a big ballpark like this, and he's probably losing, as Paul Molitor told us, maybe 10 home runs a year by playing in Target Field.
Tigers defense around Alfredo Simon today. The 3rd fewest number of errors in the American League. JD Martinez, the all-star on right, has 8 outfield assists this season, which places him 3rd in the American League. And of course, Jose Iglesias, known as one of the top infield gloves in all of baseball. Here's a 2-1, and Mauer drives a ball into the right center field gap. That'll be extra bases. Davis picks it up, and Mauer with a 2-out double.
Well, these are the kind of consistent swings that you want to see from Joe Mauer. It's fastball sitting right in the middle of the plate. Doesn't miss it, doesn't try to do too much with it. Right in the old days, again, going back to the old ballpark, he may be trying to lift that and hit it out. He knows better now. The swing is even flatter here since he's been at Target Field, staying his own longer, hitting line drives. Extra base hits have been an issue for him, but certainly nice to get one here in the first inning.
So you go from Joe Mauer, who's in his 12th big league season, to Miguel Sano, who made his big league debut last Thursday. One of the top prospects in baseball. And an aggressive hitter. Foul tips the first one, strike 1. How about his first 9 games? Hitting .414, hits in 8 of the 9 games.
It's probably going to come down a little bit, but certainly is exciting to see when you get a young hitter coming to the big leagues and showing patience. I think that's the part for me that has probably been the most impressive. He had a really nice at bat last night against Justin Verlander. We laid off a very tough 3-2 pitch, which most young hitters are going after against Justin Verlander. So this guy, so far, the bat appears to be ready for the big league level.
And it's not just the fact that he's got pop and is hitting for a high average. He's shown a really good discipline at the plate, too. The big power guy is the thing. Normally, the concern is he's going to strike out a lot. And you figure he will have his fair share of strikeouts, but he's also walked 7 times in the first 9 games.
And word will get out, as it always does in Major League Baseball. Information travels faster than it ever has, and he'll have a period here where he's going to have to start adjusting. to how pitchers and teams adjust to him and what they know about his game. But right now, he's kind of an unknown in Major League Baseball, and he's taking advantage of it.
That one just catches the top of the zone with a late strike three from Marty Foster. And Alfredo Simon with a strikeout to strand Joe Mauer at second through a scoreless inning. Double from Joe Mauer. No score as we begin the second. Mark Krause, who was just signed this week by the Tigers, takes strike one. The need arose at first base of Miguel Cabrera's injury on the 4th of July last weekend. Now Krause part of a platoon with Jeffrey Marte. Quickly behind Phil Hughes, 0-2. It's his third team this year. Started the season with the Angels. And then was signed by the Rays on June 25th. Maybe did somebody in place of the injured James Loney. Loney came back. Krause was let go. Quickly scooped up by the Tigers. Hughes 0-2. Softly hit to first. Mauer with an in-between bounce will feed Hughes for the first out of the inning. Time now for a game break. Here's Kevin Burkhardt. All right, Kevin, Kansas City trying to win a 7th consecutive game. There are a lot of hot teams in the Central right now. You've got Cleveland, ripped off 4 in a row, 9 of 12. White Sox have even won 8 of their last 10.
For the White Sox, maybe, well, I don't want to say it's a bad thing because winning is never a bad thing, but this is a team that probably should be thinking about selling, going up to the deadline, and winning too many games might put their general manager in a tough spot.
Castellanos flies to center, 2 up and 2 down. Such an interesting time of the year, especially I think with the added wild card. There's so many teams that are bunched together, especially in the American League, where it's going to be some tough decisions, buyer or seller.
And, you know, Jed Hoyer from the Chicago Cubs, the general manager there, actually had some very interesting comments along those lines and saying because the American League is so jammed up, because there are so many teams that don't have a definitive direction of which they're going right now, they're holding pat and their conversations are kind of stale. There are players from the White Sox, there are players from the Red Sox that other teams would like to get their hands on, but as they kind of sit there in the middle, it makes it very difficult to have those conversations progress forward.
At this point, there's 13 teams within 6 games of a playoff spot in the American League.
That's unbelievable.
James McCann fouls one hard off of Suzuki, who staggers a bit. Balls and 2 strikes.
See Phil Hughes trying to go away. The ball finishes middle. Cancels right through, just misses it, gets underneath it, tips it. That can't be fun. You see a lot of guys have gone back and forth between the hockey mask, and you see Suzuki wearing kind of the old school skull and cap mask. And catchers have told me that they actually like what Suzuki is wearing better, because when that happens, when that foul tip happens like that, your whole head doesn't shake as much as opposed to where you're wearing the big old school, I shouldn't say the old school, but the hockey mask. Turns out a lot of guys think they're a little more dangerous.
Hooks that one to short. Santana knocks it down and will have no play. So James McCann reaches to keep this second inning alive. We'll see how they rule it.
This is a play that Santana will tell you that he should have made. As you see him get it stuck in the heel, handcuffed himself a little bit.
They do give McCann a base hit.
That hurts my feelings as a pitcher. It still hurts a little bit when they do that.
Jose Iglesias now. Top 5 in the American League with that .319 average. Headed to the All-Star game for the first time. Waits on this first one from Phil Hughes. Former opponents in the American League East while Hughes was with the Yankees, and Iglesias began his career with the Red Sox. Came over 2 years ago, then missed all of last season with stress fractures in both shins, which is what makes this offensive explosion from him that much more impressive.
I tell you, there has been a renaissance almost now with the American League shortstop. We went through a lull for a while after we got out of the Cal Ripken Jr., Alex Rodriguez, Miguel Tejada era. And Iglesias is now one of the good ones in the American League.
Hughes got it in the hands, pushed to first, and that'll retire the side on a 9-pitch second for Hughes. Bottom 2 here in game 3 of this 4-game series between the Tigers and the Twins. 5, 6, and 7 in the Minnesota order against Alfredo Simon. It's Trevor Plouffe to lead things off. 1 for 8 in this series so far. Alfredo Simon finished the first with a strikeout, begins the second with a pitch high and in, ball 1.
And no intent there, but certainly Alfredo Simon missing his spot significantly on that fastball. 92 miles an hour up and in. He's trying to go down and away. Trevor Plouffe is now awake and ready to go.
Yeah, waiting on this 1-0. And awake and ready to go with a base hit to left. So Plouffe begins the second with a sharp single off of Simon.
When you watch the first pitch here, I mean, right at his head, he gets out of the way, and like I said, that shakes you a little bit, but he digs right back in. Another mislocation right over the middle of the plate and squares it up.
Second Twins hit of the day, and here comes Eddie Rosario. A lot of fanfare around the Miguel Sano debut last Thursday. Of course, Byron Buxton last month. Not nearly as much hoopla around Eddie Rosario's debut, which came in early May. He hit a home run in the first pitch of his career. It has been solid in his 2 months with the big league club, but just didn't have the name brand that the other two guys, Sano and Buxton, had entering their big league careers.
And not even Sano and Buxton, but just around Major League Baseball. It has been a year where a lot of the big, highly rated prospects have broken into the big leagues. Carlos Correa, I mean, it's almost like we've forgotten about Chris Bryant. That was the big one to kick us off in April. We've seen Joey Gallo. A lot of the big names now around Major League Baseball that fan bases have been waiting for are entering the major leagues in 2015.
Simon falls behind Rosario 2-0. Only 23 years old, out of Puerto Rico. He himself is a top 10 prospect coming into the year in the Twins organization, but seemed to get lost in the shuffle, at least on a national perspective. Twins fans anticipating those debuts of Buxton and Sano. Here's a 2-0. And it's 3 balls and no strikes on Rosario.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing either. I mean, yeah, it's nice to be liked and it's nice that everybody is talking about you, but at the same time, it's not a terrible thing when you first break into the big leagues and it's not all eyes are on you and here's our savior and here's the guy we have been waiting for. That can be very difficult on young players, and we're in an era now where there's so many publications that cover just the prospect before they get to the big leagues and are pumping these guys up. It can be very difficult. A lot of pressure on a young man.
Takes a strike, 3-1. Alfredo Simon, 34 years old, in his first season in Detroit. Was an all-star for the first time in his career last year in Cincinnati in his first season as a full-time starter. Like you talked about, wore down in the second half last year. Bouncing ball to the hole at short, base hit. Iglesias was at double play depth, and that opened up a spot for Rosario to collect a single.
Very nice job by Rosario and showing a mature at bat, not trying to do too much with that pitch. As you see, this one's away, and there's that split. Didn't break nearly as much as some ones that we had seen earlier, but takes advantage of the hole, looking for something out over plate, not trying to pull it. A lot of younger hitters, again, a little bit over aggressive, roll over on that ball, and he gets the double play.
So back-to-back singles to begin this second in front of Aaron Hicks. The Twins people have been really happy with since he came off of the disabled list last week. Much more patient approach. On a walk in 4 consecutive games. Sprinkled in some power over the last week. Simon works out of the stretch. His first one to Hicks will come after a look at second.
Simon does that right there just to see if he can find out whether or not Hicks is bunting. Call that the inside move. He lifts up his leg and seeing if he can catch Hicks squaring early.
Does square and take inside. We talk about, the prospects that have come up this year. There was a time where Aaron Hicks was the guy everybody was excited for. He was a first-round pick out of California high school, 2008. Hit below 200 in 2013 in his big league debut. Just above 200 last year. Slowly getting it going. And lays it down perfectly. Simon with a tough play. It's late. And they're loaded.
Terrific bunt right there by Aaron Hicks and turning it into a base hit. He did exactly what you want to do, which is put that ball on the third base side. But he deadened it so well, the ball just died in the grass. He's not trying to get a hit there, but he'll take it if he can get it. He does his job, gets him over, but then also a little bit more on this two-seam fastball. He stays in there and makes sure he gets it down before he takes off, which is a mistake a lot of players will make. Perfect bunt. Now, Alfredo Simon, just go ahead and put that one in your back pocket. You have no play at first base with the left-handed hitter.
Danny Santana was doing early bunt work yesterday, and he talked about working with Ron Carew on his bunting, and how Carew had explained to him that you can't take off for first until you see the ball hit the ground.
100%. And that's a great way to do it, because once the speed of the game actually starts and things start going faster, you are going to go out a little bit quicker than before the ball hits the ground. But I think that terminology makes you stay in there just a little bit longer, because like I said, so many guys are taking off too early to wanting to get that hit. They're not actually sacrificing themselves. Yes, they're squaring what they're told to, but they're trying to turn into a hitter. They're too quick out of the box. Perfect execution on that one.
Lou, Rosario, Hicks all with singles against Simon to begin this second. It hasn't taken us long to reach a potential turning point in this game. Kurt Suzuki, the 8-hitter, down in the count 0-1. That's a base hit to left. Plouffe scores. Rosario headed for the plate. Throws off the line. Throw to third in time to get Hicks. But a 2-run single from Suzuki. And the Twins jump on Simon.
We talked about this a lot with Alfredo Simon. You know you're going to get a split finger. He's throwing it 34% of the time. He shook to it in that situation. Suzuki was ready for it. He hit it hard in the hole. Yoenis Cespedes, we also know, has a great arm, and he came up and he made a pretty strong throw, but they had absolutely no chance at the plate. James McCann does a good job. You see that ball's below the zone. It's a pretty good location. But Suzuki was ready for it. And watch the Cespedes throw. Grass here is a little bit thick and eats up those ground balls slightly offline. But good awareness by McCann to come off away from home plate and fire to third.
Yeah, Paul Molitor going through the Twins process of deciding whether or not they want to challenge that call at third. Twins have had good success on challenges this year. Looks like they'll stick with the call and send Danny Santana to the plate. Kurt Suzuki starting to turn it on for the Twins and starting the scoring today with a base hit. So here is Santana. He pulls it sharply foul. It was Dozier with a game-winning home run last night, but in order to get to Dozier, it's a 2-run single from Danny Santana that brought the Twins to within 1. And he was the first guy that Paul Molitor brought up during the post-game press conference.
And you got the impression he couldn't wait to bring him up and to make sure that he was getting the credit that he deserved, because he has struggled this year, because he has struggled with runners in scoring position. You get a big hit like that. His manager wanted to point it out, make sure we recognize that he got the recognition that we said.
Last year seems like so long ago. Think about Danny Santana. Twins rookie record hit .319. Homered 7 times. This year, much different story. Spent a few weeks in AAA trying to figure things out. And that one stays inside the bag. Karams directly to Martinez, but Santana with good speed still has a double and an RBI, with Suzuki scoring from second.
Well, another split finger, and Santana does a good job of recognizing it. 5 hits in a row right now for the Minnesota Twins, and Alfredo Simon is not fooling anybody. And Jeff Jones is going to come out and have a word with him. As you see McCann wanting the ball down, but instead Simon leaves it up. Wanted it below the zone. That's very hittable. You leave a split finger sitting right there at 81 miles an hour.
CJ, the Twins managed 2 runs over the first 16 innings of this series. Now that is going against David Price and then against Justin Verlander. But in the last 3+ innings, that's now 11 Minnesota runs.
Well, I do believe that there's something to be said for what happened last night. You wake up today as the Minnesota Twins. You're still very much in this thing in the American League Central. You have a huge win against a team that was supposed to be better than you this year. And certainly a little bit of a spring in the step of the Minnesota Twins hitters today, and digging in with confidence against Alfredo Simon.
Second AB in as many innings for Brian Dozier. That one misses up. Ball 1. Popped out to third on the second pitch of the game. Waits on this 1-0 from Alfredo Simon. Off the end of the bat, short right. Krause is called off by Kinsler. So Dozier the second out of the inning. Extraordinary moments happen every night in baseball, but on one night they all happen in one place. Don't miss the 86th All-Star Game. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific this Tuesday on Fox. Can you believe that the All-Star break is 2 days away?
It's flying. It always does, man. Right? We sit here all winter dying for baseball to start, and within a blink it's over. It's been a great season so far. You talked about all the teams in the American League that are still in it. Parity in baseball is alive and well.
Torrey Hunter's been an All-Star 5 times in his career. 19-year big league veteran. Takes ball 1.
40 years old. Unbelievable. I remember I was in Detroit when he first broke in Minnesota. And I can't believe he's still going. It's incredible. Great career for Torrey Hunter.
Sharply hit the center. Rajai Davis runs under it and puts an end to a second inning that saw a lot of hard contact against Alfredo Simon. Glenn Perkins, the Twins All-Star closer, joins us on the other side of this break. For the Twins in a 3-0 lead as we start the third back in Minneapolis. Rajai Davis to start this inning against Phil Hughes. He delivers ball 1. Pleased to be joined now by the Twins All-Star, 3-time All-Star now, Glenn Perkins. Glenn, how's it going today?
It's going good. Early lead, so even better. Better than last night we came back, but today's a good one so far.
What was that mood like in the clubhouse afterwards last night?
It was incredible. Just coming back in any game, and let alone scoring 7 coming back from a 5-run deficit. It was fun post-game little dance party.
Well, Glenn, for me, I get a chance to thank you now on national television, because earlier this season on Twitter, I had mentioned that you had an unbelievable streak where you went 19 games to start the season without a walk. But of course, I put 2 N's in your name and got hammered on Twitter. And you were nice enough to forgive me in front of other people. Twins fans were all over me, so I appreciate that very much. You bailed me out.
It's all good. Last year I got a save against the Indians, and they called me Scott, so that was worse.
Here's a 3-1 to Davis, and it's popped up. Infielders shielding their eyes from the sun. It's Plouffe. 1 away.
And as much as you joke about it, it was fascinating to watch. We've seen actually a couple of guys. Pat Neshek, a former teammate of yours, also went 24 games this year to start the season without a walk. I got to know, when I was with John Smoltz in Atlanta, he thought he could go the entire season without walking a batter. Was there a part of you that was thinking I might be able to go, I don't want to say wire to wire, but did you have a goal in mind how far you wanted to go with this?
I mean, I never like walking guys. Obviously, you know, I try not to give home runs. I try to strike guys out and try not to walk them. So that's really all I focus on. So anytime I walk a guy, I'm disappointed, and so it's a bummer when it works out, you know, where you end up walking guys. And luckily this year for me, I haven't been hurt by him, and so that's fortunate.
So I'm looking here, and CJ, you said you tweeted about how great it was that he had his 19 consecutive games with no walks. Not only did you spell his name wrong, but apparently you jinxed him, because it was outing number 20 where you gave up your first walk.
That's lefty on
Can
lefty.
you apologize to him for that too? And can you forgive him, Glenn?
I do. That was actually an intentional one. That was that Jung Ho Gung, and it was 3-0. I think we had a 3-run lead, and so I wanted to go ahead and get the next guy instead of taking my chances or whatever. So I think you know what it was is Pedro Alvarez was on deck, a lefty. So I was going to go after the lefty and take it from there. So I kind of pitched around him a little bit, and then the next day I think I walked one. So you know, it's all good. It happens. Everybody walks guys. You give up hits, home runs, all those things. You just try to limit them as much as possible.
Now, nationally, for a lot of people who haven't been following the Twins this year, you guys were underdogs. You were a team, realistically, that people were not talking about in this division. And even after you got off to the great start, everyone said, well, of course, they're going to fall back at some point. It hasn't happened. Tell people about this team, why you guys are winning and why you can sustain it.
You know, I think we still are underdogs, and that's fine with us. We like how we're playing. We like where we're at. We've had games like today where we come and score runs early and hold on to a lead. We have other times where we come back, and you know, so we fight, we battle early, late, the whole time, and we've had a knack for getting some big hits this year, and we went through a little slump where we didn't, which happens, but by and large we've battled. Our pitching staff, our starters have been unbelievable this year, and I think a lot of that can be attributed to the defense that we've played. Our defense is greatly improved from the last couple years, and so that's made it easier for our pitchers and made us better, and kept us in games, and then our hitters have scored runs when we've needed to score runs.
2 up and 2 down for Phil Hughes. Here's Yoenis Cespedes, who has one of the 2 Tigers hits today. With Detroit down 3-0 in the third. How about the new Porsche? How's that treat? That's not a bad all-star gift from the wife.
I tell you what, I'd wanted one, and it was kind of the sort of thing where I said, when I'm done, I'm going to buy one of these, and you can't tell me no. And I had no idea, and so I got out to the parking lot that day and thought that the guys took my car and parked it elsewhere, but it ended up being in my spot, and I love it.
Well, congratulations on all this success. Best of luck moving forward. Have fun Tuesday.
Thanks, guys.
That's Glenn Perkins to the bottom of the third in a 3-0 game. Six hits over 2 innings against Alfredo Simon. as he goes back to work against the Twins, and Joe Mauer set to lead off this third. Ball one. It's been more of the same for Simon so far. And it all started with Mauer's double back in the first.
Well, the command has been off, even though he's throwing strikes, 57% strikes so far up to this point. But it's his command within the zone. We're seeing him pull some pitches. We've seen him leave that split finger up in the zone. Actually got a strikeout on it on a pitch that was at the top of the zone. It was not where he wanted it. So far for Alfredo Simon, not feeling comfortable and not executing when he needs to.
Only has delivered first pitch strike to a quarter of the batters that he's faced. Brings a 1-1 to Mauer. 1-2. This is only his second season as a full-time starter. We've touched on it a couple of times, but last year, in his first year as a full-time starting pitcher in Cincinnati, he wore down in the second half. Similar trend like you mentioned, but it's happening about a month sooner this year than it did last year.
And it's certainly concerning for the Detroit Tigers now. Justin Verlander looked good last night, so that's the good news there. Shane Green is back. I believe he's going to start tomorrow. That's important. He was the guy that they were counting on this year who has struggled after getting off to a nice start.
Under the glove of Kinsler and into right. Mauer's aboard to begin this third. Simon not getting any help from the defense.
Certainly not, as Ian Kinsler tried to backhand this ball. It looked like he kind of stabbed at it. He just missed it.
Normally sure-handed Kinsler charged with the air. Tigers third best in the American League as far as avoiding errors. So Alfredo Simon was a bright spot over the first 2 months, really along with Shane Green for a period of time as the two new starters in that rotation. But look at the numbers his last 4 times out.
It's discouraging. If you're Brad Ausmus and you're trying to get this team going, this was a team that was not expected to be a third-place club. They've had their issues, and as they start to struggle, and as the Kansas City Royals play better and play well, I mean, they've been playing well all season, but have really been on fire lately. It's difficult to see your starting staff struggle like that, especially Alfredo Simon right now.
Justin Verlander was good last night.
That was encouraging, wasn't it? I mean, that was the one that they have been waiting for. Everyone kind of holding their breath and wondering, who is Justin Verlander right now? Who can he be this year? How much can he contribute? And you have to remember, he didn't have spring training. He had it, but then it got cut short, and so it was going to take him a little while to feel better. And he looked really sharp last night. The velocity was good, and definitely something closer to the old Justin Verlander. And the velo was good late in the game too, which was encouraging.
Sano hits one high and deep down the right side. Back goes Martinez off the wall. Mauer read it beautifully. He'll try to score from first. Kraus goes to third. Sano's hung up. Mauer scores on a double from Sano, who is tagged out by McCann. It's 4-0.
Well, like you said, Joe, great base running by Joe Mauer. He read that right away, and he could see that J.D. Martinez had no chance of getting to this ball, that it was over his head. But he did not assume that it would be a home run. This is a big ballpark. Joe Mauer knows that, as we see another pitch that is up, and a nice swing by Sano, not trying to do too much. And that's some power in this ballpark to get this ball up, even though he didn't get it out. He hit it a long way, just missed it by a little bit. J.D. Martinez played it pretty well, but watch Joe Mauer reading it, and he knows right away that's going to be over J.D. Martinez's head, and he's thinking home. Slowed down a little bit there around third, and I tell you what, there might have been a play at home plate. Kraus cut that ball off, and from our view at high home, obviously we have a great view from here, there may have been a play at the plate, but he decided to cut it and take the out at third.
I was surprised to see Gene Glenn even sending him home.
Joe Mauer actually looked a little bit surprised as well as he was coming around. He seemed perfectly content, maybe staying at second, or excuse me, at third, and having second and third and nobody out. But they sent him and it worked out. You'll trade the run for the out right there.
It is unearned with Mauer reaching on the air. Trevor Plouffe takes strike one. Singleton scored the Twins' first run last inning. They got 3 in the second, now 1 here in the third. Still batting against Simon with 1 away. So 4 runs on 7 hits against Simon. And now Plouffe sends one into right center that'll duck down for another base hit. His second hit of the day. Well, the Gillette Home Run Derby, presented by Head & Shoulders, is coming, featuring the best home run hitters in the world, competing in a new format. Head-to-head bracket style, timed rounds. Catch all the action Monday night, 8 Eastern on ESPN. Here are your Home Run Derby brackets. What do you think of the new format?
I like most of it.
Okay.
I like the idea that we're going head-to-head. I love the idea that Albert Pujols and Chris Bryant actually is head-to-head. If Albert hits 15 and Chris Bryant hits 14, Chris Bryant's out. Doesn't matter if he's second. I love that. I think fans will really enjoy that. They time the rounds, 5 minutes. I think that's a great idea as well. They should have stopped right there. I think that would have been the format. But they also now have where after 4 minutes have expired, the clock will stop. And if you're hitting home runs, the clock does not start again until you make an out. I don't love that part. And there's also a new opportunity to get more time, where if you hit home runs based on distance, you can earn up to an additional minute and a half. I don't love that part either. We'll see how it goes.
Rosario pounds a base hit to right. And Alfredo Simon is up there looking like he's throwing batting practice of his own right now.
Minnesota Twins, right, the hitters are 8 for their last 10 right now. And like you said, not fooling anybody. Just one swing and miss up to this point for Alfredo Simon, and he is not sharp. And Jeff Jones is going to come back out again. Certainly they don't want this game to get out of hand, but they also do not want to completely start emptying out their bullpen here in the 3rd inning.
Not only is that 4 runs on 9 hits now, Simon's benefited from 2 runners getting thrown out at 3rd. This could be worse.
Absolutely. And you think also about the error to start this inning off by Ian Kinsler. That's certainly a momentum changer when you're struggling. You feel like you get that first out and your defense is unable to come through. That certainly can be deflating for Alfredo Simon, and it just has not been his day.
That is Buck Farmer, you saw loosening down in the Tigers bullpen. He is a starter by trade, so can give him some length. And at this point, it's looking like they might need it. Aaron Hicks, 1 for 1 with a bunt single last inning. He jumps on the first one, yanks it foul. Balls and a strike on Aaron Hicks. And taking 3rd without a throw is Plouffe.
What a great heads-up play there by Trevor Plouffe, understanding that Alfredo Simon right now is in his own head. He is struggling, having a hard time throwing strikes, just not paying attention at all to the base runners. Plouffe could have walked to 3rd base if he wanted to right there. And not only that, but on the pitch as well. Simon missed his spot badly, trying to go down below the zone. He left that pitch up. Look at the walking lead.
We've seen a couple of times him get away with leaving a pitch up. Granted, that one's a ball, but he got a strikeout of Sano to finish the 1st inning on a splitter that was left a little bit above the belt. Not where you want to leave it, not the guy you want to leave it to.
Runners now 9 for 15 against Alfredo Simon when it comes to attempts and stealing bases. McCann does a good job at throwing runners out. He's been good this year, but he can't do it unless his pitcher gives him some help.
Pitching, which was such a strength for the Tigers in recent years, especially in the rotation, it's not been good this year. Of course, they let Max Scherzer walk. Now dominating in Washington. Dealt Doug Fister. Porcello obviously having a tough season in Boston, but he was a member of the rotation and a solid one. David Price, an all-star. Every other starter on this roster below league average as we reach the all-star break. Left up, and again he got away with it. 2-2.
It's amazing how many of those we've seen. Top of the strike zone by Simon. You see there as we take a look at who the Detroit Tigers are when David Price is not on the mound. 15-3 record in his starts, 10 games under 500 when everybody else is starting. Anibal Sanchez got off to a slow start. They obviously missed Justin Verlander, who wasn't here. And for the Detroit Tigers, it just has not been the same without Max Scherzer, without a healthy Justin Verlander, and without the same old Anibal Sanchez, who has been better lately. got off to a slow start in 2015.
Simon to Hicks with a 2-2 after another toss to first. Paying close attention to Rosario, who's stolen 7 bases this year. Simon hoping for a ground ball that can get him out of this inning. Bench coach Gene Lamont on the phone. Simon staring into the dugout.
Oh, they're actually, you wonder if they're looking at a replay to see if Rosario was out there. They're actually considering it.
Looks like they'll let it go. With a 2-2 count on Aaron Hicks. Plouffe at third, Rosario at first. They both single. 2 of the 9 Twins hits against Simon.
Simon almost seems a little bit annoyed by what's going on right now. First looking in, a lot of throws to first base. He's been having a difficult time getting comfortable the entire day. When you're having an outing like this, it is easy to get annoyed by the other things that are going on. Take away from your focus on what you're trying to do, which is execute pitches, which he has not done well today at all.
Signed out of the Dominican back in 1999 by the Phillies and bounced around the minors for close to a decade before making his big league debut with the Baltimore Orioles in 2008. Spent the last 3 years with the Reds before coming over to the Tigers this offseason. Runners at the corners and 1 away. And Hicks patiently waiting on another 2-2. That ball's ripped to deep right. Martinez racing back. It's over his head. Plouffe scores. Rosario will score. Hicks headed for third with a 2-run triple. And the floodgates have opened early.
The bottom of this Twins lineup continues to do some pretty unbelievable damage. 6 for 6 right now between Plouffe, Rosario, and Hicks, and JD Martinez. As we see another pitch that is up, he makes an aggressive call here. He tries to go for it. He just missed it. Unfortunately for him, that means it's going to turn into a triple. He's just going full speed after that ball and can't stop himself. But you like the play, try to make something happen in that situation. And unfortunately, that's going to be all for Alfredo Simon. A rough day here for him in Minnesota.
Already 6 runs in the bank. Runner at third, his responsibility as well. Buck Farmer comes in. called up on Tuesday. Made a start in late May for the Tigers. Made a start in late June. And now called up to be part of this bullpen. Trying to keep it right here at 6-0 with a runner at third, one gone. So the AAA numbers for him. Kurt Suzuki takes ball one.
In a spot here for Buck Farmer, maybe potentially if he can get himself deep into this game, eat up some innings for the bullpen, and maybe earn himself another start. That's part of the goal for him as the Tigers and Dave Dombrowski look for some answers for their rotation.
Able to lay off 2-0. Suzuki part of the bottom part of this order, CJ, that 5 through 9 is a combined 8 for 8 with 2 doubles, a triple, and all 6 RBIs. The guys at the top, Dozier, Mauer, and Sano, and Hunter, haven't done anything.
Well, outside of the double from Mauer, the double that we saw from Sano, you're right. Simon did a very nice job against the bigger bats at the top of the lineup.
Iglesias does a nice job as save a run and throw out Suzuki. Hicks holds it third and 2 away. So the Twins getting 3 runs in the second, getting 3 more here in the third. It all started with a Kurt Suzuki base hit with the bases loaded to drive in 2, make it 2-0. Danny Santana had an RBI double later in that frame. Twins had a 3-0 lead through 2 innings. Sano with an opposite field double to bring home Joe Mauer. And then Aaron Hicks with a 2-run triple to chase Simon and make it 6-0. Hicks still at third as Danny Santana takes a strike from Farmer.
And the Twins have certainly done a good job of taking advantage of the mistakes that Alfredo Simon was throwing today, but also a couple of opportunities on the bunt. It was a great bunt by Aaron Hicks, doing the little things right, and then the misplay by Ian Kinsler that started off this inning. A couple of those small things also maybe could have kept this game a little bit closer and kept the Tigers in it.
Worth keeping in mind, this is, we're talking about the Tigers, the number 3 run scoring team in baseball. Even without Miguel Cabrera, they've scored about 6 runs per game. So Brett Ausmus's club not buried yet. Farmer's 1-1. Santana hits it off of Farmer, and it ricochets into short right for an RBI single. It's 7-0 Minnesota.
This ball was hit hard, and we'll see exactly where it caught Buck Farmer. Looks like on the inside of his left foot. But nobody from the Tiger staff coming out, and this is part of being young and knowing that even if you're hurting a little bit, they're going to need you to stay in this game.
Gotta wear it, buddy.
And that is kind of the way it goes sometimes in these situations.
You were telling me about facing Paul Molitor. Was it your rookie year? And he hit one off of you in a little worse spot than Buck Farmer took it?
This was, yes, back in the day before I ever wore a protective cup. Missed me by just a few inches in a place that I preferred never to get hit by anything. That's certainly not a Paul Molitor line drive. And I picked it up, threw over to first base. Paul Molitor was out. The inning was over. It was the first inning. I walked back into the dugout. Sparky Anderson was our manager that year, his last year managing in the major leagues. And he said, "You all right?" I said, "I'm fine." He said, "Let me see it." Pulled my pants down in the middle of the dugout, and a huge black and blue mark I had on my inner thigh. And he took me out of the game right there on the spot. But that's my Paul Molitor memory. And the future 3 children that I now have certainly appreciate the fact that he just missed me. And what a great player. So good at using the field, hitting the ball up the middle. I was the recipient of one of those.
Ryan Dozier takes a strike. Did you face him again, or was that it?
I don't remember. I'm sure I did. I'm sure it didn't go well. That was when I was starting, and things were not particularly good for me at that time in my career.
You weren't the only one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Some issues with Paul Molitor. Hall of Famer. 3,000 hits. Dozier takes ball 1. Good stop, McCann.
It was the first time for me pre-game today having an opportunity to sit down and talk with him, and really impressive. I mean, a guy of his accolades and everything he's done in his career, you can sense the humility. He's all in on managing. He is not I'm Paul Molitor and I'm here and I'm just going to show up and manage. He is completely dug in. It's very enjoyable listening to him talk about this team, talking about how they're playing, talking about the things that he is recognizing and where this organization is.
How much credit does he deserve for this turnaround?
He deserves a lot. I think anytime we look at managers and we try to judge them, it's so difficult to do from the outside. You can't tell about team chemistry. You don't know maybe how well he might be running the bullpen. It's hard to tell. Yeah, you can see who's coming in, but those are the things. But for me, judge a team sometimes on how are they playing based on expectations, right? And this team is playing well above the expectations that we had on them nationally. He absolutely deserves credit for that.
Dozier shoots one towards right center. Ajay Davis can't get there. It's another Minnesota hit. First to third goes Santana. Dozier with his first base hit of the day. The Twins have him cornered with 2 gone. That's 12 hits.
Unbelievable right now we're seeing from the Minnesota Twins, because you look up and down the lineup, and yes, Brian Dozier, probably should be an all-star. Here's a guy with 19 home runs and having a good year, but nobody blows you away when you're looking at batting averages. There are no big numbers outside of the 19 home runs that Dozier has this year that makes you say, here's a great offensive lineup. They don't have it on paper, but yet they're finding a way, not just today, but this entire season. They're scoring just enough runs to win. We don't see these kinds of offensive explosions from the Twins like we are seeing today.
Torrey Hunter takes one that bends in for a strike. You saw the numbers on Dozier, leading all big league second basemen in most categories. Hunter looking for his first base hit of the day. In fact, he is the only Twin in the starting 9 without a hit over the first 2 2/3.
To answer your question, that was the only at bat I ever had.
Okay.
That's Paul Mall. So put him down for 3 zeros in my book.
Kinsler with a diving stop, and they get the force out at second. The Malone bright spot of this 4-run inning for the Tigers, 7-0.
Just been announced from Major League Baseball that Jose Bautista from the Toronto Blue Jays will be unable to participate in the All-Star game due to injury. Selected to fill out the American League roster next Tuesday in Cincinnati is a player who leads the American League with 66 runs, has 49 RBI and 19 home runs, including 2 walk-offs this week. Fans, let's hear it for 2015 All-Star, Brian Dozier.
Quite a moment here at Target Field between innings. You heard it there. Brian Dozier named to the American League All-Star team. Jose Bautista down with an injury, so he loses out on the final vote, with Mike Moustakas of Kansas City winning that, but will still make his first trip to the All-Star game. No balls and 2 strikes on Victor Martinez.
And certainly nobody happy to see Jose Bautista have an injury and have to miss the game, but certainly for me also, justice is served. I mean, Brian Dozier should be an all-star, but because of the process that we have, because of the fan voting, and sometimes it goes awry, and Jose Altuve is a great player, but he's probably not a top 3 or 4 second baseman, or maybe that's about where he is right now. Dozier's had the better year.
That ball's cranked down the right field line. If it's fair, it's got a chance, and it's gone. Victor Martinez with his second home run in as many days, and the Tigers on the board with a Martinez solo shot.
Bmart trying to steal Dozier's thunder a little bit right there in his situation, but Victor Martinez, a bat that this team has missed. I mean, they've done a pretty good job without him, but they need him. It's the way this team has been constructed, and he absolutely hammered that ball to right field.
Been a different guy since coming off of the disabled list last month.
You see this pitch from Phil Hughes, and you know you're going to get strikes from Phil Hughes. In general, you're certainly going to get them with a 7-0 lead. Victor Martinez was ready for it, pulls the hands in nice, barrel to the bat, squares it up beautifully.
Now JD Martinez takes ball 1 from Hughes, who's now allowed 22 home runs this year. That's the most in the majors. 9 of the last 12 runs that he's given up have come via the home run. JD Martinez goes the other way for a base hit. Back-to-back solid contact against Hughes to begin this 4th.
That JD Martinez swing is so good. You watch him drive the ball the other way so smoothly, ahead in the count. I mean, that's what gets so impressive about it. This is not shortening up with 2 strikes and going the other way. This is a 1-0 count, taking what the pitcher's going to give you, not necessarily waiting for a pitch to drive to left field to try to hit it out of the ballpark. What he has done over the past year and a half has just been absolutely amazing when you consider where he was at the end of his Astros tenure.
Mark Krause now trying to keep the line moving for the Tigers, showing some life offensively. Can you imagine if JD Martinez was on the Astros? I mean, add that piece to what is already that lineup.
Got to think that their front office thinks about that once in a while as well. And you know, things were not working out for them, and it's easy to jump on the Astros and say, well, look where you messed up. But you know, it could be one of those situations where JD Martinez just needed a change of scenery.
Krause pulls 1 to Hunter for the first out.
Could have needed some new coaches telling him some new things.
On Tuesday, baseball's best players gather in Cincinnati for the Midsummer Classic. Home field advantage for the World Series on the line. Coverage of the 2015 All-Star Game presented by T-Mobile begins Tuesday at 7 Eastern on your local Fox station, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. JD Martinez will be there representing the Tigers in his first All-Star Game. Here's Nick Castellanos.
Brian Dozier will now be there.
Yeah. Castellanos, another guy that started to turn it on for Detroit. Coming into the game, his average at his highest mark since April. Fly to center his first time. Hughes with a 1-0. A little bit low, 2 balls and no strikes. More than half of the runs that Phil Hughes has allowed this season have come off of the long ball. Right now, Twins dugout letting Marty Foster, home plate umpire, hear about that last pitch. He thought it caught the bottom of the zone. Here's a 2-0. It's a strike.
I think Marty Foster has shown us today that he's willing to call the ball up, which is unusual. You don't get a lot of umpires that call the high strike. Not a lot to complain about if you're on the pitching side of things, but that one I think was just below the zone.
Two-1. 3 balls and a strike on Castellanos, who was given a few days off in late June in the middle of a big slump. Brett Ausmus said to him, enough with the extra video study, enough with the extra work in the cage. Just hit. And he has since. 3-1. Swings at ball 4. Count goes full.
Well, it's not surprising when you are a young hitter trying to make your way in the major leagues, trying to stick, and you start to struggle. You want to make sure that your coaching staff knows. You don't want to just be sitting still, and so you go out and you do the extra work. You take the extra batting practice. You look at video, and sometimes that can lock you up more than it can help you. And I think Brad Ausmus recognized that for Nick Castellanos.
Hughes brings a 3-2. Castellanos bounces it foul. And he was never a guy personality-wise that was overly analytical. So the fact that he was putting in those extra hours watching video and the extra mechanical work in the cage, not necessarily him.
No, and I think it's important, and that's a part of managing, is understanding that you have 25 different personalities. Guys learn different ways, they adjust different ways, and it's part of the manager's job to understand who works and what way they work and what works for best for them, and stepping in when the time is right.
That ball's hit well to right. Back on it goes Hunter to the wall. He turns and watches it bounce right by him. Martinez had to wait to make sure it wasn't caught, so he'll anchor at third. And a hard hit double from Castellanos.
This turns into a good at bat for Nick Castellanos after he chased a couple balls out of the zone. He gets one to work with, ends up being right down the middle, keeps the hands in. You see the head down, which is very nice. He crushes this ball to right, and that's the one thing about this ballpark in right field. That is a cement wall above the padding right there, and it's close. If it hits the padding, it's not going to bounce nearly as far. That one hit the cement and can be a little bit dangerous if you're a right fielder. Luckily, it didn't hit Torrey Hunter on the way back.
Castellanos now hitting above 350 since that discussion with Brad Ausmus in late June, and since the few games off in a row to recollect himself. James McCann now with the Tigers trying to chip away in the fourth. And McCann shoots a base hit to right. That'll score Martinez and Castellanos. 2-run single James McCann, and a 7-3 game in the fourth.
Well, we know this about the Detroit Tigers. They can hit even without Miguel Cabrera. This is a team that swings the bat and swings it pretty well, and we're seeing good at bats. JD Martinez going the other way, Nick Castellanos going the other way, and now James McCann going the other way. Those are quality at bats, not trying to do too much while your team is down big. And slowly but surely, the Tigers are getting themselves back into this game. They know Phil Hughes is going to be around the plate, so it was a comfortable at bat in that regard, and they're taking advantage of that here in the fourth inning.
Second hit for James McCann, who was the everyday catcher when Alex Avila went out with the injury for a couple of months. Back into a backup role, but any opportunities gotten since Avila's return, he's been good. Jose Iglesias out of the 8th spot. Hughes has said there's been times this year where he's not felt like himself. Coming off one of the best seasons of his career. The best strikeout to walk ratio in baseball history last year. Led the team in wins, which is 1-0. Behind 2-0. So he's had to battle through not having his best stuff, and he said it's been a learning process. He figures when he comes back with the stuff that he used to have, what he's learned through battling through not having it is going to make him a much better pitcher.
Every pitcher goes through it. You make 32 starts over the course of the year. There's going to be 10 times where you feel like you can pitch with your eyes closed. There's going to be a handful of times where you don't feel good. You try to be competitive in those moments.
Twins will turn a double play to finish this inning. And the Tigers score 3 to get back into the game. Their ace, David Price, joins us on the other side of his break. inning to cut into the 7-0 deficit. Now 7-3. The bottom of the 4th inning. 3, 4, and 5 for the Twins coming up. Joe Mauer set to lead it off against Buck Farmer. He's reached both times today. Doubled in the 1st. Reached on an error and scored in the 3rd. And takes ball 1. We're joined now by Tigers pitcher David Price. David, appreciate you taking the time. How's it going today?
It's going okay. I think we're going to score a lot of runs today. So Buck just needs to keep them right where they are and let our offense do what they do.
I got to ask about that wristband real quick because I just saw. What do you got there on your right arm?
This is Rajah Davis's dad. He got these made for Father's Day, and it's a Mims band. And there's a couple guys that wear them. I think it's the coolest thing I've ever worn on the baseball field, swag-wise. And I got some pretty cool cleats every day and a sweet shin guard. But this right here takes the cake.
Oh, that's very cool. Very cool. I want to ask you about your last start. Now, I don't know how much you buy into some of the stuff that we see online and some of the numbers. I always kind of take it with a grain of salt. But Brooks Baseball had you down for 41 changeups in your last start, and that would have been a career high according to their data. First of all, do you think that was accurate? And if so, what's been going on with you maybe with more changeups this year?
It could have been. I mean, I'm going with what works, and that's pitching. You don't always have your best fastball or your best command or your best slider or curveball. You have to kind of just go with what you see a hitter doing in the box, and that's what I've been doing. That's what I did 2 nights ago as well. So I just kept going with it because it was working, and to me that's pitching.
Now it looked good. I mean, you had good movement on it, tailing away from those right-handed hitters. For you, I mean, is that a pitch that has gone up in your repertoire, or is it just a matter of just happened to be that night where it was better and so you went with it?
No. I mean, it's definitely gotten better. Starting with last year was a pitch that I learned to throw a lot better. I mean, I'd never really thrown a changeup in my career until 2013, kind of. So it's gotten better each and every year, and to me, it's a fun pitch to throw.
And it seems to me that you have, as most guys do that play college baseball, a lot of pride about Vanderbilt. And a lot of good pitching has come out of Vanderbilt University over the past few years. Yourself, Sonny Gray, Mike Minor. Who else am I missing? Has there been any other guys that have gotten to the big leagues out of Vandy?
Pedro Alvarez, Ryan Flaherty. We've had Taylor Hill. We've had a lot of guys. Antoine Richardson. I mean, Dansby Swanson just went first overall. Carson Foreman with 8th overall.
Loving your poise right now, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah. Ball Sanchez is both you guys have been quite the pranksters these last 24 hours or so. I know everybody enjoyed the prank you guys pulled on Torrey Hunter during batting practice yesterday. Whose idea was that?
Sanchi came to me whenever we saw it. He was like, whenever we go and play the Twins before the All-Star break, he was like, we have to do that. And I was like, that's a great idea. Torrey will definitely love it. And he did. And I texted him the night before. I was like, Torrey, we have something special for you tomorrow, so make sure that you're paying attention. I didn't know Sanchi was going to take his pants off, but that was the coup de grace.
I was going to say, man, that's where he passed you. Like, he was willing to take it down to the shorts, down to the underwear. You weren't willing to go there.
I hope he gets fined. That's what I'm hoping for.
At least kangaroo court if you guys do it. I mean, somehow, some way, you got to get something.
Yeah, he'll have to eat an egg for sure.
Miguel Sano is at the plate right now. So he played the trick on the almost 40-year-old Torrey Hunter. Now here's Miguel Sano, who's at the plate, 22-year-old, striking out against Farmer. You saw him the other night, had good success. What are your early thoughts on this young star?
He is enormous. I mean, I felt like whenever I was standing on the mound, and I don't know how tall the mound is, but I felt like me and him were seeing eye to eye, and that's not very common in this game. And I'm 6'5", and then standing on top of the mound, I guess I'm taller, but I mean, I felt like me and Sano were seeing each other eye to eye. And he can hit a fastball, that's for sure. And I just wanted to get ahead, and that's what I did with him for the most part, and just tried to make him hit my pitch.
Now, you've been through it. You got to the big leagues when you were young at 22 years old, and started out that first year in 08 a little bit when you came up. We're seeing a lot of young guys come to the big leagues, and they're getting there quicker. They're not spending nearly as much time in the minor leagues. How do you feel about pitchers that get moved along kind of quickly? What are the benefits maybe of spending some time in the minor leagues, or do you like that they're here quickly?
I like that they're here quickly. I mean, I'd like to see whether or not they're high school or college guys. I'd go ahead and say for the most part, a lot of them are college guys, you know, with the exception of a couple of them. But, you know, the quicker you can get here, you know, the faster you can get yourself established and kind of get a routine and take it from there. And that's what's going on.
David, I think you got some sunflower seeds to clear off the middle of your cap, so we'll let you go.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate the time.
Thanks. We're going to win this game.
Phil Hughes to Rajai Davis, the Tigers' 9-hitter. There's strike one. Davis 0 for 1 today. Popped out to third in the third. Hughes back home with an 0-1. Caught the corner, quickly ahead of Davis 0-2. Continuing to pound the zone as he's got a reputation for doing.
You talked about that strikeout to walk rate that he had last year. He was up over 11. 11.6 was the strikeout to walk rate for Phil Hughes last year, the best of all time. The old adage is you want to be 2-1. 3-1 is really good. 11-1 is absolutely absurd.
What were you?
I don't know. 1-1 if I was lucky. 1.5 to 1 maybe on a good year.
What about in Korea?
Probably got worse. I couldn't strike any of those guys out, man. In Japan and Korea, those guys are short to the ball. Couldn't get anything past them. Why you got to bring up old stuff, Joe?
Sorry, man. Opening up old wounds on you. You didn't even make it halfway. Here's a hard hit fly ball to right center, carrying well and off of the base of the wall. Rajai Davis thinking about 3 and then throws on the brakes as Dozier throws it to third.
That was almost a disaster for Rajai Davis, former teammate of mine. We spent some time together in the minor leagues with the Pittsburgh Pirates years ago, and he got a little excited coming around second base, and I don't know if he was just trying to draw the throw potentially. Maybe they throw it away, but he had absolutely no chance of going to third. But a very nice at bat, and again we continue to see it from these Detroit Tiger hitters. This is why this team has done so well offensively. The highest batting average in Major League Baseball coming into this game at .281, the highest on base percentage, third in runs scored. It will give you good at bats up and down the lineup.
Ian Kinsler strike out and a ground out today. Back at the top of the Tigers order. Second trip through, much better success against Phil Hughes, who delivers ball 1 with a cutter. He's been throwing that more and more to right-handers, trying to get him to chase off of the plate. And trying to throw fewer fastballs and use that cutter, use that curveball to make the fastball more effective.
That cutter percentage has gone way up since he came here to Minnesota. When he was with the Yankees, it'd be around 13%. And now down up to about 20 since he's been here both years in Minnesota.
Twins were thrown out by Dozier. The Game Changer profile is brought to you by T-Mobile, the official sponsor of Game Changers. And it looks at Phil Hughes over his last 4 starts. For the first couple of months of the season, the numbers were not good, but he's been better lately.
He's been very good, and as the Minnesota Twins continue to play well, it's nice to see Phil Hughes get back on track to where he was a year ago. Paul Molitor told us that his stuff really wasn't jumping. He didn't seem like he was quite the same guy. He didn't want to call it dead arm, but he said he looked like there was a fatigue phase there. That's what they were seeing in Phil Hughes, and since then has been a lot better. He was unable to elevate his fastball. That was another part of his game because the stuff wasn't there. Hitters were getting to it. You can only elevate that pitch when you know you can get it by some hitters, but that has since changed for him.
Cespedes 7 for 14 against Hughes in his career after first inning single. Fly out in the third. And Boyer getting loose for the Twins. Hughes only 60 pitches in, but a lot of solid contact over the last 2 innings for Detroit. Davis started this inning with a double. Moved to third, and the Kinsler ground out. Hughes to Cespedes with an 0-1. Good stop by Suzuki. 1 ball, 1 strike.
See some pretty badly missed location as Hughes was trying to go down and away. It's about as far away as you can miss as it was way up and in. And a good reaction there by Suzuki.
New York Yankee brings a 1-1. Cespedes crushes it to left center. Hicks on the move to the warning track, won't get there, and it bounces over the wall. RBI ground rule double for Cespedes, who continues his mastery of Hughes. And just like that, the Tigers back to within 3.
Yoenis Cespedes has tremendous power, and this is a guy who's going to be a free agent after the season. Offense, especially right-handed power hitting offense, is so difficult to come by. We see Phil Hughes again missing as he was trying to go away to Cespedes, and you can't help but wonder a little bit. He knows how well Yoenis Cespedes hits him, and here's a guy with good command who's always throwing strikes. So we see him missing badly in that at-bat, and you just wonder a little bit, is he overthinking it, knowing that Cespedes has his number and trying a little bit too hard and overthrowing? Now we're getting some action in the Minnesota Twins bullpen here in the top of the 5th inning.
Now Victor Martinez, who started the Tigers scoring last inning with a solo home run against Hughes. Takes strike 1. With a slugging close to 300 points higher for Victor Martinez since coming back.
Now look at this power here. I mean, this ball is in off the plate. It's probably a ball. You see the hands inside, and he didn't even completely square it up all the way, and that's just his raw strength and his ability to get that over Aaron Hicks's head. Cespedes is a very strong man.
Missed badly again. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Phil Hughes is struggling there a little bit as we're seeing him miss spots more than we're used to seeing from him. I think there's a little bit of fatigue setting in as he's battling, right? He gets his great lead, a 7-0 lead. He's giving back 4 runs right now. Has it back against the wall a little bit with the runner in scoring position and just 1 out here in the 5th inning.
Martinez over the top of that split change, and it's 1-2. So Ryan O'Rourke has gotten up in the Twins pen as well. Hughes tries to battle through this 5th inning with a 7-4 lead. Hughes 1-2. 2-2.
And he was trying to finish off Victor Martinez with that change split again, like you talked about. Very difficult to strike out Victor Martinez. He puts together tremendous at bats, does not give away very many pitches, doesn't strike out very often. And Phil Hughes, not necessarily a guy who generates a lot of swings and misses, so it'll be interesting to see. Tries to go to that split one more time below the zone, or potentially a cutter to try to end this at bat.
Hughes home with a 2-2, and Martinez takes strike 3 on a backdoor breaker. 2 outs.
I think Victor Martinez may have been thinking what I was thinking, looking for everything but that breaking pitch, and it was pretty well located. V-Mart does not like the call.
He thinks it went around the plate. Now he's been kicked out of the game.
Brad Ausmus out to step in and protect his player. And Brad's got to watch it or he's going to be gone too.
And Brad right now doing a good job of getting in between home plate umpire Marty Foster and Victor Martinez, who's already been thrown out of this game. And Ausmus doing what he has to do to protect his player. You know, Victor Martinez wanted this at bat really bad. He's already homered off of Hughes today, and he's taking a big hit, another home run. The Tigers will be right back in this game. You know, this is a backdoor breaking ball, and this is exactly what Hughes is trying to do. It's a ball the entire way, and he's hoping that it catches the corner, and it probably did not. Victor Martinez has a good argument. Brad Ausmus is smart to stand up for his player in this situation, especially to see this pitch called when it's up. You just don't see it very often. But as I said earlier, Marty Foster has been calling the high strike. Suzuki does a good job of making that look like a strike. Victor Martinez has a great case. That's a ball.
And some flexibility for Brad Ausmus as far as who he plugs into that spot, because Victor Martinez is the DH. Anthony Gose, Alex Avila, Andrew Romine, Jeffrey Marte, all available. So he plugged into the 3 spot in the order, but none of those guys are Victor Martinez.
No.
Tigers need some offense battling from behind. JD Martinez is 1 for 2. Takes ball 1. Some frustrations for the Tigers, a team that had the 3rd best record in the majors in mid-May, but since then, since May 16th, the worst record in the American League. 2-0.
Now we see Phil Hughes going back inside against JD Martinez. Does not want him comfortable. He's been out over the plate, swinging the bat well. And that's what you do. But inside out hitters, ones that do what JD Martinez is doing this year, can get to that ball if it's a strike. I think Phil Hughes now will probably try to go cutter after following that fastball in. Let's see.
Going away. He did go with a cutter. It was fouled off. 2-1. Tigers had just 2 singles through the first 3 innings against Phil Hughes. They've had 6 hits in the last 2 innings, including 3 doubles and a home run. Hughes to Martinez with a 2-1. Hard hit down the right field line, peeling out of play. Eight-game deficit for the Tigers in the Central starting the day. That's the largest deficit they've faced since May of 2011. The Royals have kept on winning 6 in a row, even with Alex Gordon on the shelf. Full count.
There was that front door breaking pitch, very similar to what Hughes did. Different pitch, but same idea, where you're throwing that breaking pitch to that side of the plate where it's a ball the whole way and you're just trying to catch that corner. It's a lot harder to get that pitch called righty on righty than it is righty on lefty, like we saw with Martinez. Victor Martinez, I should say.
JD Martinez barely gets a piece to stay alive. Hughes said a big part of the key to his success last year, one of the best seasons of his career, was his ability to locate those arm side pitches. Like you said, whether it's the backdoor pitch to the left-handed hitter or the front door, like he just tried to get Martinez on. Cespedes at second with 2 outs. And another 3-2 coming to JD Martinez. Got it. Back-to-back punch-outs to finish the 5th for Hughes, who gives up 1 more, and it's 7-4. How about the bottom of the Twins order going 9 for 11 to help spark those 7 runs. 7-4 Twins lead. The bottom of the 5th.
20 hits in this game already.
Wow.
Only in the bottom of the 5th inning. These teams have come out swinging it. No walks, both pitchers. As bad as Alfredo Simon was, and he wasn't good today, he was around the plate even though he was missing within the strike zone. And Buck Farmer, through his inning and 2/3 so far, has also been very good. It's a second opportunity now for him to have the dreaded shutdown inning, which I know not everybody loves that term, but it is important here if he can put up a 0 as the Tigers try to get back in it.
Trying to keep Detroit in the game. 7 runs on 10 hits allowed by Alfredo Simon. 2 balls and a strike on Eddie Rosario, who singled twice against Simon and scored both times. 4 for 7 in this series now. 23-year-old from Puerto Rico. Here comes Farmer's 2-1. 2-2.
So you said 5 through 9 or 8 for 10?
9 for 11.
All right. There we go. Okay, I was checking my scorebook. I thought I messed this one up. I did not. There it is. 9 for 11.
It's a 2-2, and Rosario fouls it off at the plate. Do it again. Farmer, who has started a pair of games this year for the Tigers, 1 in May, 1 in June, was called up on Tuesday to help out his bullpen. It was Shane Green that was called up to join the rotation tomorrow. It's going to be one of those 2 guys. Farmer sticking in the bullpen at least for now. But perhaps an audition with the large struggles of Alfredo Simon. 2-2. Full count.
Like I said, he's done a good job up to this point. Had a big inning last inning with the 2 strikeouts to Sano and Plouffe. Now another opportunity here. Obviously, he's doing that bullpen, and Brad Osmond's a huge favor. The deeper he can get into this game, give him a chance to at least try to set the right way.
3rd base hit of the day for Rosario, and he goes the other way with this one, trying to turn it into 2. And then Cespedes woke up and fired into second, holding it to a long single. Tomorrow, it's the 2015 XM All-Star Futures game on MLB Network. Then Monday, the 2015 Gillette Home Run Derby presented by Head & Shoulders on ESPN. Tuesday, the All-Star Red Carpet Show presented by Chevrolet is on MLB Network. And it, of course, leads up to the Midsummer Classic. Starts at 7 on Fox on Tuesday. Leadoff man on for Aaron Hicks on the 13th Twins base hit of the day. Fastball for a strike. Single and a triple for Hicks. Alex Wilson getting loose for Detroit. Farmer came in for Simon with 1 out in the 3rd. And has held the Twins off of the board since then, at least as far as the book goes. No runs charged to him. 1-1.
I wonder now about the running situation here. McCann has been really good, as I talked about. He's thrown out 16 of 28 potential base stealers this year. So you see Farmer throwing over. But he does have that kind of split that he throws that has some good depth to it. Trying to guess when he's going to throw it would be an ideal time to run. This might be it. You throw over to first base, and you see the fake shake there.
Fake shake
From McCann. You see how he was shaking his head and not putting any signs down. Basically what he wants to happen is he wants Farmer to shake. He made him do it again. You try to get in the hitter's head just a little bit. Watch McCann here. See, shake your head no, shake your head no again. And there's the sign now to throw over to first base. And the idea there is that they're thinking, they want the hitter thinking, they want Paul Molitor thinking that this is going to be an off-speed pitch. They want Rosario thinking it's going to be an off-speed pitch, and maybe he'll want to steal, and then they throw it.
Rosario bluffs and holds on as Hicks takes inside on a fastball. 2-1.
There's a lot of shaking for a lot of nothing.
All that for nothing. But he resets respective strategies. Rosario off to that lead again. Good speed. Kraus holding him on. Farmer's 2-1. He runs this time, and it's bounced foul.
And this is the opportunity for a guy like Brad Ausmus to really shine. This is what he did. This is what kept him in the big leagues for as long as he played, was his ability to control a running game, what he did behind the plate, all those years of studying. This guy worked as hard as anybody to have the career that he had. He was a defensive catcher first. And these are the kind of guys that know how to control the running game. They understand tendencies. He's been through it. And I got to think this is the part where he really thrives, where he really gets excited about the opportunities to hold the running game, and it helps when you have a guy like McCann who throws so well.
Not running this time, and the count goes full on Hicks. Ausmus played until he was 41. 18 major league seasons, finished up 2010 with the Dodgers.
More of those seasons with me than he probably would like to admit. We traded together 2 times. We did the old Houston to Detroit trade there for a couple of times, and they were making a lot of moves.
Strike him out, throw him out.
Throw. Oh my goodness. I mean, that was not even close.
Like you talked about, James McCann has been a nice weapon back there. How important is that to have a guy like that when you're without Alex Avila for 2 months?
It's huge, and not only that, I mean, that's an off-speed pitch, but look at the release time, how quickly he pops up. Not a great jump. Rosario looks in. Looks like the effort there looked a little bit low, but McCann made a perfect throw on top of it. And what it does is it's nice for pitchers because you know you don't have to be perfect. When you have a bad defensive catcher, there's extra pressure on you to execute pitches, to get the ball to home plate a lot quicker. When you have a guy like McCann, or for me when I threw to Brad Ausmus, I knew it didn't have to be perfect, but your catcher could make up for it. McCann was solid right there. It was fun to watch.
Suzuki looks at a strike from Farmer. 2-run single in that 3-run second inning. Twins added 4 in the 3rd. Tigers have got 3 in the 4th and 1 in the 5th. 0-2. Suzuki brought in last year with Joe Mauer moving from catcher to first base full time, and he was an all-star for the Twins. One of his best career seasons offensively. What's made it a little bit surprising that this year has been one of his worst.
What was so great about that all-star appearance for him last year was that the all-star game was here at Target Field, and the home fans just absolutely loved having him as one of the representatives in the all-star game in 2014.
Popular guy, likable guy. Waits on this 1-2 from Buck Farmer. Able to lay off an enticing breaking ball. 2-2. This is through July 10th from last year on the bottom line there versus his numbers now. He's gotten it going lately, trying to pull himself out of that early season slump. Same pitch, same patience, full count.
I got to think for Buck Farmer to go back to the fastball. He tried to strike him out twice with the breaking balls down and away after getting way ahead 0-2. Now he has to throw a strike here. But for me, after throwing those 2 breaking balls away, I love the fastball middle in. They're going to go away.
4th punch out for Buck Farmer. An important relief from him, keeping the Tigers in the game 7-4 after 5. Tigers have played it 4 in a row, 7-4 out of the 6th. The game brought to you by Chevrolet, the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. Phil Hughes is finished. Blaine Boyer begins his day. 53-year-old veteran, 9th season with his 6th different team. Ready to face 5, 6, and 7 in the Tigers order. 42nd outing for him. That's the most in the American League.
You see the low strikeout rate there, and that is really consistent throughout this entire pitching staff. Just 6 strikeouts per 9 innings in both the bullpen and the starting rotation combined. That's the lowest in baseball. It's just not what this organization does. And it's interesting to see now as they work this shift after a first pitch, after the 0-1, if you saw that or not. Fascinating shift to go between pitches to change it. That's not something you see all the time.
Bounces it to Mauer, who takes it unassisted for the first out of the 6th. Time now for a game break. What's going on, Kevin Burkhardt? Yeah, because this doesn't happen often. This snaps a 6-game Royals winning streak. So a chance for the Twins to get to within 4.5 of the Royals. Chance for the Tigers to get to within 7.
Mark Burley was really good in that game for the Blue Jays. 7 innings, just 2 earned runs, no walks, just 2 strikeouts, and that's what he does. And for the Blue Jays, with that lineup, the best offense in baseball, most runs scored, if they can just get some decent pitching, if they can get guys like Burley and Ari Dickey going consistently, and they have been better as of late, they could be the team to beat in that American League East, but it hasn't happened consistently enough.
That lineup by far the best in baseball when you look at run production. But yeah, pitching staff, it's almost like, you know, the American, every team is going to have flaws, right? But in the American League, it seems like every team has significant flaws. There's no teams where you have to nitpick to find them.
Yeah, I think the only team, especially in that division in the American League East, that looks a little even is actually the Yankees, right? The top of the rotation is good. The bottom rotation is not great. As we see the American League Central here now with Kansas City losing. The Twins trying to gain some ground today, knock that down to 4.5. But going back to the East, the Red Sox, right? We know how bad their rotation has been. But the Yankees are actually somewhat balanced. Their best relievers are really good. Their best starters, Tanaka and Pineda, are really good. Their best hitters are pretty good. When you have Ellsbury and Gardner and Alex Rodriguez and Teixeira this year, they're probably the one team they need. There's room for improvement, but they're probably the best balanced team, believe it or not, in that division.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Nick Castellanos. Doubled and scored his last time up. Even the Royals, who have the best record in the American League by a pretty good margin, starting pitching is not very good. They're in the bottom part of the American League in that category.
It's amazing to see. Then the Tampa Bay Rays, they need some offense. They have some pretty good pitching. Everyone's coming back, getting healthy. Odorizzi, Matt Moore, Drew Smiley will probably be back within another month. It's not your grandmother's AL East, that's for sure. It's not like it used to be.
What do you think about the Astros?
The Astros have been good. Lance McCullers has been really good for them in the rotation. Dallas Keuchel might start the All-Star game on the American League side. Colin McHugh has been pretty good this year. He's got a great curveball slider, has been good for him this year. They could probably use one more starting pitcher. The problem with the Astros is good pitching, especially in the postseason, will probably shut them down because of all the swings and misses in that lineup.
Still 2-2 on Castellanos. The Astros are the only team that's lost more games than the Twins over the previous 4 seasons. 4 straight 90-loss seasons for them. That included the 111-loss team 2 years ago. Houston, the only team with a greater 1-year turnaround this year as far as winning percentage than Minnesota. Another 2-2. Castellanos does well to lay off. Full count.
The Astros have really done for me is now they went in full rebuild. There was no halfway. There was no we're going to try to compete. They threw in the towel for a couple of seasons. Their attendance was terrible. Their TV viewership was terrible. They got the #1 pick a couple of years in a row. And it's paid off. And it's hard for teams to do that because you lose your fan base for a little bit, but it's really paying off with what they're doing in 2015.
Next offer going to be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Castellanos battling against Boyer. Astros haven't had a winning season since 2008. And at the top of the West as we reach the All-Star break. Well, the Angels coming hot. The hottest teams in baseball lately. Boyer to Castellanos with another 3-2. And that is a heck of a walk for Nick Castellanos. Slug your way to the Home Run Derby crown. Master the free award-winning game millions are playing. Download MLB.com Home Run Derby free on the App Store and on Google Play, but not till after the game because I want you with us for the last 3.5 innings. James McCann, couple of hits in his 2 at-bats today. It's the first walk of the game, right?
First one of the game, and Blaine Boyer has really had a very interesting career path. This guy used to throw really hard. He actually retired back in 2012, and he comes back to baseball, signs with the Royals, and then they let him go so he could pursue an opportunity in Japan. He pitched for the Hanshin Tigers. Came back, signed a minor league deal with the Padres. Now here he is with the Minnesota Twins, and being an important part of the bullpen, not just a journeyman who's got to bounce around and keeping his head above water. He has become an integral part of what the Twins bullpen is doing this year.
He gave up 4 runs in his first 3 innings pitched this year, but has an ERA below 2 since. 0-1. McCann chased one up, came up empty, strike 2. The 2012 season, you mentioned Boyer taking off. Decided to get his real estate license, did some other things in business, spent time with his young family, but made the decision with his family to come back to baseball, and they made the decision together that they would travel to many of the trips with him. Here's his 0-2. And he gets McCann for strike 3.
Well, that's a part of the game I think that a lot of people don't realize the stress that it can be. This is the greatest job in the world if you can have it, as we watch Blaine Boyer finish off McCann with a good slider away. Actually, he left it over the plate a little bit. McCann just missed it. A good rotation on it nevertheless, but you forget, as it's foul tip, actually. Good job by Suzuki to hold on to that. But you forget sometimes the stress level that can be on a family. You spend a lot of time away. There's a great opportunity to play this game. It's the greatest job in the world. I think of nothing more fun than stepping in between the lines in major league stadiums, but at the same time it can be really difficult on a family. It doesn't surprise me at all. A guy like Blaine Boyer, who's solid, likes having his family with him as much as he can.
It's Iglesias to pop the shallow center for the All-Star Dozier. That does it for the Tigers in the 6th. Twins try to hang on to a 7-4 lead. Twins 7, Tigers 4, bottom of the 6th back in Minneapolis. Buck Farmer delivers to the 9-hitter Danny Santana, who bunts it back to the mound. Farmer will pull Krause off of the bag, and Santana reaches.
No, it wasn't a good bunt. It looked like Buck Farmer may be taking a little bit of his time, and it wasn't a perfect throw like you mentioned. We'll watch him here. Fields it perfectly. Actually picks it up his bare hand. I didn't take it too easy, but I think for Krause, I mean, listen, it's a bad throw. If you watch him there, watch his right foot. Watch Krause here. His right foot actually goes to the right. You have to wait for the throw first before you make that step. Because now if he steps toward that throw, he's going to catch it a little bit earlier. And maybe he ends up being out. It's tough. I don't want to pick on him too much, but you see that step to the right. You're supposed to wait till after that ball's in the air. And now Brad Ausmus is going to ask them to challenge that play, it sounds like.
It's a tough E1 initial ruling. The umpires will get together.
Let's see the replay here as we watch. So again, just watch the right foot of Krause go the wrong way. Should be stepping toward the ball. He catches, and they're saying he pulled his foot off the bag. They still would have had him. It's tough. If they get the super slow-mo view, they may be able to get that. It's tough. You never know. Now Paul Molitor's out there. I don't know why he would be out there in this situation.
They are bringing the headset out.
Unless Paul Molitor just wanted to clarify what they were reviewing, but I'm sure, because you have to decide, right? You have to pick whether or not, are you saying that his foot was off the bag, or are you saying that the throw beat him? And the call that I thought was that Krause was off the bag. And so I think Paul Molitor probably wanted to clarify that and make sure. Because you can't ask for multiple things on a replay. You must ask exactly what you're looking for. What you're asking them to review. See right there, as they show
on the video board.
And so as we see this, which is so great that they allow us in the stadiums now, right? They never used to allow this, but they show it. And the reaction amongst Twins fans here was not one of encouragement, as we were kind of, ooh, maybe he is out. So we get to see it in slow motion here on the big screen. He might be called out. That was close. Oof.
Yeah.
Because it looks like his foot stayed on the back. We'll get another look at it. That's tough there.
I love Danny Santana's face. He's seeing the same thing, up on the video board. Saying,
Now, the one thing about, obviously, whenever we see a call where it's so close, more often than not, it's not going to get turned over, right? They're always going to stay with the call that's on the field, and I guess not.
It's a big call. So Santana's retired and erased the error that was initially charged to Buck Farmer.
Now, think about this. Think about you and I. We're watching that play, and we're wondering, we're not sure which way is it going to go. They have to make that decision relatively quickly down in the dugout and make a decision that we're going to go for this and try to get this thing turned over. But when you watch it the first time, you're not exactly sure. It takes a few views. The ball's got to get to the back of the glove. And they're saying his foot was still on the bag. Man, that is close. They got it right, though. I think they got that call right.
So it's Dozier with the bases empty looking at a strike. That comes in front of the top of the order. Santana, the 9-hitter. It looked like having reached to begin the inning. Instead, one gone with the bases empty. Farmer to Dozier with an 0-1. Top of the zone, strike 2. Named an all-star today with Jose Bautista pulling out of the all-star game with a sore shoulder. His first trip to an all-star game. And gets hit.
You could see that coming from a mile away. The setup way in right there. Gets a young pitcher on an 0-2 count. Buck Farmer did not look comfortable at all getting ready to throw that pitch. He's got some good life on his fastball, and this one just runs up and in and catches Brian Dozier. It looked like it caught him on the left arm. Let's see the replay here where it caught him. You see him pull his head off, and that ball just run up and in. Yeah, catch him right above the elbow and the tricep.
intentional on an 0-2 pitch. Dozier's aboard with one out, and up comes Torrey Hunter.
As a young pitcher, any pitcher for that matter, but especially a young one as you're trying to establish yourself at the major league level, you have to be confident going in. 0-2 there, you don't want to throw a strike, but you have to make sure that you're confident that you can get that ball in off the plate without hitting that batter so that you open up the outside part of the plate. Oh my.
That ball is hammered. Fair and gone. Torrey Hunter with a 2-run shot.
Third deck for Torrey Hunter. The old man still has some power at 40 years old. Turns on that fastball, first pitch. What a quick turn of events here for Buck Farmer. He has the 0-2 on Brian Dozier. He hits him. And the next pitch, a 2-run homer and an absolute madness shot from Hunter. Look at this, right down the middle, fastball up. He knew it. We knew it. Unbelievable. Wow.
And so the first runs allowed by Buck Farmer on a ball that was crushed by Torrey Hunter.
Get that, 102 miles per hour. Wow.
Turns 40 next week. Now Joe Mauer shooting one foul, nothing in two, and flexing the muscles. That feels good for the Twins, with the Tigers having taken some of the momentum, scoring 4 straight, getting back to within 3. But the lead now back to 5 for the Twins. 0-2 from Farmer to Mauer. Ball 1. Spent the last 2 years with the Tigers. Signed a 1-year deal this offseason. The team that he started his career a long time ago. 19th big league season for him now. He was a first-round draft pick of the Twins. In 93, that debuted in 97. Spent a decade in Minneapolis, then with the Angels, then the Tigers. That one's hit hard the other way down the left field line, but it will slice foul.
Torrey Hunter this offseason had talked about wanting to come back here and win with this team. And I remember thinking, this is a team that's, I don't know if they're going to win. And they are winning this year, and they certainly have a chance to get into the postseason if they continue to play this well. But it's been a terrific career. He was a tremendous center fielder, as you see the gold gloves. They slide him over to right field, and basically he is a center fielder playing right, which is always a nice thing to have as a pitcher covering unbelievable ground. A really nice career, one that's not finished just yet.
Our muscles a bouncer to Kinsler, throws him out. 2 gone to the 6. All-Star jerseys, caps, collectibles, and more. Get all your 2015 All-Star Game gear at the MLB.com shop. Here's Sano. Couldn't lay off, strike 1. I'm talking with Paul Molitor about Sano earlier today. Sano was signed when he was 16. And at the time, Molitor was a minor league coach in the Twin system, so got to know him pretty well. He said he's grown exponentially as a hitter since he was signed 6 years ago.
Well, it's impressive, of course, for me, even that Paul Molitor was willing to coach at the minor league level. Hall of Fame player, you just don't see that very often, guys that are willing to do that, and it pays off benefits now as he becomes the big league manager. Guys that he has spent some time with in the minor leagues, already has relationships with some of these younger players. It helps a lot for these young guys to come up and have already been around a guy like Paul Molitor, who's now the big league manager.
Ball coming out of the sun now, entering the shadows halfway home. 1-2. Lays off a high heater. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 13 runs on 22 hits combined in this game. Count goes full on Sano. There's one of those hits, an RBI double back in the third. Sano, good patience. And he'll earn the walk. His 8th in 10 games in the big leagues.
And a surprising choice of pitches there for me. A 3-2 breaking ball for a guy. Yes, he hasn't been here very long, but he has shown that patience. And you know, you have to throw that pitch down the middle, otherwise he's not going to swing at it. Jeff Jones now going to come back out. Come out, I guess, for the first time to talk to Buck Farmer. I'd love to get him through at least the rest of this inning.
Kept the Twins off of the board until that 2-run shot from Torrey Hunter. While they talk with him, let's check into the studio for a game break with Kevin Burkhardt.
Uh-oh. I appreciate that. Kevin Burkhardt, my studio partner back in Los Angeles, making fun of my lack of power, which I had none of course, but that's great. Matt Harvey, a home run. How about it?
How about this, though, Kevin? And Harvey's got nothing on Nitkowski as far as Mets ERA.
That's right.
Though.
Sorry about it.
Not close.
Can't be caught. 5 1/3 shutout innings.
Greatest Met of all time. No doubt we're going to Cooperstown with a Mets hat.
Minimum 5 games pitched.
Five-hitter Plouffe ahead of the count 2-0.
I think the Mets writers are going to have some fun with Matt Harvey hitting a home run when the Mets have struggled to score runs the way they have now. They actually have hit 3 home runs today, all against Patrick Corbin. So maybe that helps it die down a little bit. But can you imagine had they not hit any?
Yeah.
They would have been all over that offense, which has really struggled to go with that great pitching.
Strike one on Plouffe. A lot of people in the New York media, the national media, begging that front office to make a move to support what is an incredible pitching staff and what is a National League East that is much more tightly compacted than folks thought it would be coming into the year.
For me, the time is now. They've done a really good job of developing that pitching, drafting it or acquiring it via trade. Noah Syndergaard, of course, they got from the Toronto Blue Jays. You have to strike soon.
Plouffe strokes one to center for a base hit. His 3rd hit of the day. And the 15th Minnesota knock over the first 6 innings.
And this ball is smoked right back up the middle. A fastball splits the plate. Belt high. Plouffe does a very nice job. Hits it hard. And that's going to be it for Buck Farmer, who had a good outing up until that 0-2 pitch against Brian Dozier.
And that's going to do it for Buck Farmer. As Brad Ausmus goes to the pen once again. 9-4 Minnesota. to face Eddie Rosario. Runners at first and second, both the responsibility of the departing Buck Farmer.
Ian Cole came over in that Doug Fister deal with Robbie Ray from the Washington Nationals. And at the time, Dave Dombrowski took a lot of heat for it, but they needed some left-handed pitching, some young left-handed pitching. Cole was one of two guys. Robbie Ray has since moved to the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Cole struggling this year. Splits are not particularly strong against lefties, which is what they want him to be able to do. Lefties hitting .381 against him in his 12 games.
He's called up from AAA on Sunday for his third big league stint this season. Rosario floats one down the left field line, foul. 1-2. The third outing for Kroll since coming back up. A couple of outings against Seattle. Scoreless inning on Monday, and then on Tuesday gave up a run on 3 hits over 1 1/3. First outing against Minnesota.
Talking, of course, to Brad Osmus before the game, the bullpen is an issue. The only guy that has the definitive role is Soria, who is their closer. And other than that, he said, I can't get out to find roles. Nobody has pitched well enough where I can make this guy my setup man and this guy my ground ball guy with guys on base, or this pitcher my lefty specialist. It hasn't happened. There has not been enough consistency coming out of the Tigers bullpen, and it puts them in a tough spot. And they continue to make changes as they can. Jabba Chamberlain was let go. Tom Gorzelani was a lefty that they brought in. He was recently let go. And the turnover continues in that Tiger bullpen.
Rosario drags it on the ground to Kinsler, who goes the short way for the force out. And the inning is over. But the Twins add a couple of runs of insurance on a no-doubt shot from Torrey Hunter. 9-4 Minnesota. Hunter's 14th home run of the season as the Twins up 9-4. Joe Davis, C.J. Ninkowski back at Target Field. A 9-hitter Rajay Davis ready to lead off this inning against Blaine Boyer. Hovers one in for a strike on Davis, who's 1 for 2, doubled and scored the Tigers' last run in the 5th.
If any of Blaine Boyer's family's watching the game today, they're upset with both of us for not wishing him a happy birthday today. I missed that one. Luckily, he went back out for a second inning.
Is that a tweet that somebody gave, or is that Baseball Reference coming through again?
That is Baseball Reference. 34 years old today for Blaine Boyer.
It's 1-1 to Davis. A little bit in, 2 balls and a strike. Celebrating his birthday with an American League leading 42nd appearance this year. Ajay Davis leading off this 7th for the Tigers. 2-2. Double-barreled action made. Dunsing.
If they run into guys, they got a great left-handed pitcher down there as their bullpen coach. Eddie Gallardo had a really nice career here with the Minnesota Twins.
Softly hit to Plouffe, and Davis can fly. He's got an infield single. That's how the Tigers' 7th begins. And back to the top of the Detroit order.
Rajay Davis still runs really well, and you see him get out of the box and get a nice jump. Right away as he tried on the exchange. We had no chance of getting Davis.
And Kinsler hitless so far today. He's got 4 hits in this series, though. All of them for extra bases. Second season in Detroit. He was acquired in the Prince Fielder deal prior to last year. And for a year, it looked like the Tigers got the better end of that deal. But man, has Prince Fielder gotten it going again this year.
He is my pick for the home run derby this year. He's healthy. He's swinging it well, and you can tell he is letting it fly right now. You watch him take those big swings, hitting himself in the back of the back.
That ball's cranked into the left field corner, but just foul. As Kinsler just narrowly misses out on a 5th extra base hit this weekend.
He thought one of those extra base hits was a home run that he hit off the very top of the wall. We'll get a chance to look at this replay. Just misses inside the line. And he hit that rare ball that hits the top and bounces back. And always amazing. It does happen a couple of times throughout the year. But he thought he got it. He was circling home run as he was making his way around the bases, but it ended up just being a double.
Almost like defies the laws of physics. It can bounce back when it hits the wall coming in at that angle. Good lead for Davis. 14 steals for him this year. Generous inside edge that Kinsler doesn't like. Victor Martinez has already been thrown out for arguing a strike call. It's from Marty Foster.
And as mad as Victor Martinez was when he went back in that clubhouse and watched that replay a dozen times, he became, maybe only once, it might only took him once, he became more angry because he was absolutely justified. That pitch was a ball, that backdoor breaking pitch had never crossed the plate.
Probably wanted to pull it up on the smartphone, head back out, and show Marty Foster.
They get those reports now. I mean, this is a difficult time to be an umpire. Not only is the multiple cameras in the super slow-mo, baseball has done a really good job now with instant replay, but it's not on balls and strikes. And umpires will get reports on which pitches they miss, and they keep track of all those things. And Marty Foster will realize that he missed that call after this game is over. And it's tough. You know, one thing an umpire said to me years ago, which I never really thought about, he said, we never have a home game. The crowd is always against you, and you're always on the road. And it's a great job, and it's difficult to get to the major leagues, and these guys do a fantastic job. But it's certainly not an easy one.
And say you miss a few a game, that's a few out of 300 pitches in a game.
You're going to miss some. And here's Ian Kinsler the other night. Even when it hit right there, it's amazing. That ball bounces straight back up and comes back onto the plate. Excuse me, back onto the field.
That would really be amazing, though. That's back to the plate.
That would be pretty incredible.
Davis takes off, and Kinsler grounds it foul.
Archie Davis 14 for 17 in stolen base attempts coming into this game. He's got the oven mitt on. Casey's got to take any cookies out of the oven. Is that what he wears?
Davis started this inning with a single. Boyer taking his time against Kinsler. Here's another 1-2. I promise. Eventually.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Of all the beards that we see in Major League Baseball these days, the redheads pull it off the best. Blaine Boyer, Justin Turner.
A cue shot that gets through the hole for a base hit. Davis always going to go first to third on that ball. Kinsler shoots one into right. Back-to-back softly hit singles to start this seventh for the Tigers.
This is a good job by Ian Kinsler taking advantage of the hole on the right side. Blaine Boyer tried to sweep that breaking ball down and away, and even though it was a ball, he left it over the plate, which gave Kinsler a chance to hit it to the right side where he wanted to. It's going to be it for Boyer.
Paul Molitor takes the ball from him. And he leaves with a 9-4 lead intact. Runners at the corners, his responsibility. Minnesota in front 9-4 here in the seventh inning. It's been better lately after a really rough start to the season. Had an ERA above 10 on June 12th, but it's gotten it going over the last month. When Cespedes climbs in, already a couple of hits today. Strike one.
You may wonder about the matchup. He's actually been better against righties than he has lefties. 244. And Yoenis Cespedes, surprisingly, this is shocking to me. 188 against left-handed pitching. When you see a right-handed pull power guy, they usually feast on left-handed pitching. I'm surprised that Cespedes has struggled so badly this year against southpaws.
Chases one that faded low and away. He's quickly behind 0-2.
What it tells you is that he does exactly what we saw right there, which is get an outside pitch, and instead of trying to go with it, he tries to pull it. That was well located.
Davis at third, Kinsler at first. Bouncing on for Boyer. And an 0-2 to Cespedes. Those splits you referenced. Hard to believe.
It is. I mean, killing righties at 330. That's a big number.
Infield single for Rajay Davis, and then Ian Kinsler just tapped one pass first. They're at the corners with nobody out. And a 1-2 to Cespedes. Out it off of the plate. We'll do it again.
That's the change up there with the good movement down and away. They threw the slider 0-2, hoping maybe they could get him to swing and go for it. Now it'll be interesting. You're not going to go inside unless you're going to go hard in off the plate or bury the breaking ball down and in. That back foot breaking ball, you're not looking for one for a strike. You don't want to float a breaking ball in there for a strike unless it's going to be on the absolute corner. Let's see what Suzuki calls for here. Looks like fastball in. Not a lot of room for error. Got to get this ball in. And even then, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. What that does, though, it's nice because what you just did right there was you sped up. You went to Cespedes' bat, right? Going, trying to get to that ball in. He had to be quick to get there. He was. And now if you can pull the string on the changeup here, as Rajay Davis does a good job of getting out of the way. But changeup here right now, most likely going to be the pitch or something away to get him to pull off.
Cespedes has shown an ability to go the other way in this series. See what he does on 1-2.
Creep it back in.
Oh, they went away and got him.
Wasn't exactly where Suzuki was set up, but the execution was great, and the way that they got there was great. I like the at bat right here. Very nice job. As we go pitch by pitch, first pitch away, cut back a little bit over the plate. Cespedes probably wants another shot at that one. There's the changeup down and away, perfectly located. We saw the 0-2 breaking ball that he was able to lay off. They go away again, fights that pitch off. And there was a fastball in that he fouled off, and then ultimately they finish him with the breaking, with the off speed, the changeup down and away.
First at bat of the day for Jeffrey Marte, who's into Victor Martinez's spot after Martinez was thrown out arguing balls and strikes following his 5th inning at bat. Good numbers with AAA Toledo. And then in his first game with the Tigers on Wednesday, doubled and hit his first big league homer. Here's a 1-0. On the ground is short. Santana to second one. Dozier got rid of it late. Marte's in safely to get a run home. It's 9-5 at the bounce out.
This is going to be a very difficult double play to turn. Santana does a very nice job, gets there, makes a really good feed to Brian Dozier. And you see right there a little bit of the double pump, and maybe if he got that out cleanly they would have had a chance, but that would have been tough. And you see Marte right here getting out of the box as quick as he can. He's not an exceptional runner. Well, you know what, they may actually have been able to turn that, I think, if Dozier got that out of his glove.
But the double clutch allows Rajay Davis to score, and it brings JD Martinez up. The runner at first and 2 outs. Twins led this game 7-0 after 3 innings. They got 3 in the second. They got 4 in the third. Tigers got into it with 3 in the fourth and 1 in the fifth. They've added 1 here in the 7th. The insurance coming off with Torrey Hunter, a 2-run shot in the 6th. Dunsian's 1-0. Bounce back to the mound. He's got it. And will flip out to first to get Martinez. Tigers get one back. Stretch time in Minnesota, 9-5 game. Minnesota. The bottom part of the Twins order, which has done the bulk of the work today, comes up against Ian Kroll. It's Aaron Hicks, 2 for 3 with a single and a triple. Ball 1. 11 hits for the bottom 5 in the Twins order. Most of those coming against Alfredo Simon, who didn't make it through 3 innings. Two and out. A renewed opportunity for Hicks with Byron Buxton on the shelf. And he's started to take advantage of it. The number's not popping, but they've liked his at-bats over the last week since coming off of the DL with a forearm injury.
You make a good point. Byron Buxton, one of the top prospects in all of Major League Baseball. The anticipation of him coming to the big leagues was high. And for Aaron Hicks, that means losing playing time and losing a job. And then all of a sudden, you mentioned that injury. And now here comes some more at-bats, and you got to jump on it, take advantage of it, make the most of it. And you never know what's going to happen, right? I mean, you talk about him being a first-round pick. You don't know where you're going to end up and where you're going to play the bulk of your career. But what is important is that when you get those opportunities, you'll take advantage of it.
Buxton went down in late June with a sprained wrist. Here's a 2-2 to Hicks. The count goes full. Heard it sliding into second. Suzuki and Santana to follow for the Twins. Trying to add on to this 4-run lead against the Tigers. The payoff. And Hicks pulls it foul. Kroll came on last inning, replacing Buck Farmer, third Tigers pitcher today. Second season in Detroit. You mentioned his CJ, former National. As part of that Doug Fisker deal prior to last season. Winding another 3-2 and ball 4. So leadoff walk to the 7th inning that has seen a lot of offense. Twins got it going with the bottom part of the order. Suzuki started the scoring with a 2-run single. Santana added a run with a double off of the wall as the Twins got 3 in the second and 4 in the third before Victor Martinez launched a home run to get the Tigers on the board. They'd add a couple more in that inning and a James McCann single. Get another in the 5th and cut it to 7-4 before Torrey Hunter mashed a 2-run homer. 9-5 our score here in the 7th.
That Hunter home run went into the 3rd deck here at Target Field off the bat at 102 miles an hour. But no doubter he knew it. In any ballpark, as much as this one holds home runs, there was not a park in Major League Baseball that was holding that one.
Ball's flown pretty well today.
It has.
A little humid. These guys are former teammates for a short time in Washington. Suzuki, longtime Oakland A. Was with the Nationals in 12 and 13. Oakland for part of the 13 season, and then came to Minnesota prior to last year. With Kroll going to Detroit prior to last year.
It's never fun facing a former catcher because he has seen everything that you have.
Alex Wilson still getting loose. The day with the bullpen is being taxed. Alfredo Simon just 2 1/3. Ben got working in the 3rd inning today. It's a bullpen for Detroit that in April and May was the 3rd best, at least when you look at ERA in the entire American League. Since the start of June, the worst in the majors.
As we see Brad Osmus there and pitching coach Jeff Jones, it becomes so difficult to manage a game when you have a bullpen that's in flux, where the roles are not steady. There's guys you don't feel like you can count on in certain situations. Eventually you have to bring guys in and kind of keep your fingers crossed and hope for the best. But it's where you get your most gray hairs when you're managing a baseball team. It's when it comes to running that bullpen.
Hicks walked to start the inning, and Kroll paying attention to a guy that has 7 steals and 9 tries this year. Good lead at first, not running. Ball 1.
You see McCann wanted that fastball elevated up. 2 reasons there. One, you're going for the swing and miss on the 0-2 count. The other reason that if the runner was on the move, which it probably would not be in that count, a much easier pitch to handle when you're trying to throw.
Reach a seat, still 1-2 on Suzuki. Important piece for this Twins team the last couple of years. It's a team that this year has had the second best one-year turnaround in the majors. Houston Astros, the only team that's improved its record better. The Twins have from last year when they lost 90 games for the 4th consecutive season. Now in year 1 under Paul Molitor, here they are at 47-40 entering today's action. Suzuki strikes out, 1 away. Tonight, baseball night in America on your local Fox station, 7 Eastern, Yankees and Red Sox, or the Cardinals and the Pirates, who split the first 2 games. John Lackey and A.J. Burnett go at it tonight. You could also see the Nationals against the Orioles. It also streams live on Fox Sports Go. How about A.J. Burnett, an all-star, what will likely be his final season?
At 38 years old. And what a matchup that's going to be tonight as he goes up against Lackey, who's 36 years old. As much as we've talked about the kind of influx of great young players in this game, there's a couple of old-timers getting it done. We saw one, like we said, soon to be 40-year-old Torrey Hunter here as well. But A.J. Burnett has been great. That Pittsburgh Pirates rotation is very good. It's very deep. They're playing great. They have a chance. If they can get to the postseason, they have a real good chance of going deep if they stay healthy.
9-hitter Danny Santana having a good day, 2 for 3. RBI double in the second, RBI single in the third.
And you were just talking about the Houston Astros and the turnaround that they have. They have lost today. So right now it's a tie for first place. The Angels, of course, still have to play or still have to finish their game, but they are tied right now for first place. The Angels have the Mariners tonight. C.J. Wilson and Sashi Iwakuma. But that would be pretty unbelievable to go to the break and thinking about the Astros not being in first place after this tremendous first half that they've had.
The Angels have gotten hot despite some turmoil between the front office and clubhouse.
Turmoil that ultimately resulted in Jerry Dipoto, the general manager, stepping down. It sounded like basically a dispute over how information was distributed, advanced scouting reports. He was unhappy with what was going on. They made the decision that they were going to bypass the coaching staff, which is never a good idea. And just give that information. Oh, pardon me, I'm sorry. And give that information directly to the players. And that report got out. Ken Rosenthal wrote about it. And the next day, Jerry Dipoto stepped down.
Back to the top, Brian Dozier. The Angels have won 10 of 12. And going into this stretch, they were 5 games out.
Wow, they're going to challenge this as well. Oh, pitching change.
Brad Osmus thought about it. Gene Lamont was on the phone again. Checked that call down at first. Video confirmed that it was the right call, so the only move here is that Kroll is coming out. And the 4th Tigers pitcher of the day is coming in. made. They right now lead 9-5 in the bottom of the 7th. Alex Wilson replaces Ian Kroll, and he quietly has been Detroit's top reliever this year.
Wilson has done a really nice job, and you look at that strikeout to walk ratio, just 2 home runs allowed in his 46 innings. Doing a really nice job in one of the few reliable arms right now for Brad Ausmus. But pitching here, because are down by 4.
Started the season in AAA, was called up April 23rd. And a mechanical adjustment after a really rough spring that forced him to miss the opening day roster. Shortened his arm path some, simplified things, and fixed it. Strike 1 to Brian Dozier. Casey Fiend getting loose for Minnesota. Seems like Hicks has been on first for an hour.
And a little risky right there, not sliding. That's an easy way to get your manager upset with you on a close play like that. And certainly cannot get picked off and really can't even make it close without sliding back into first base. And this has been part of Brad Ausmus's plan. We've seen it today. Multiple throws, consecutive throws over to first base to keep those runners close.
That one kicks away from McCann, and so Hicks moves up to second. It's an RBI chance for Dozier with 2 outs here in the 7th. Dozier headed to the All-Star game, his first one. And so he and his wife will have to cancel their plans going up north this week and rented a cabin in the northern part of the state. I think he'll happily cancel those plans to go to his first Midsummer Classic.
Might lose that deposit, but it definitely is worth it.
Yeah, I think I read that the deposit was refundable.
Really?
Yeah, he got a good deal. I heard what he did was said, "Hey, I'm Brian Dozier. My deposit's refundable." And I said, "Yep." Here's Wilson's 1-2. Got it. So Wilson comes on and strikes out Dozier. 9-5 Twins to the 8th. Mark Krause leads off this 8th inning for the Tigers, down 9-5. Ryan Dunsing back out for his 2nd inning of work. And the left-hander starts his frame with a breaking ball low. It was Hughes to begin, then Boyer, and now Dunsing. Krause still looking for his first hit of the day. One and one. Tigers team that had the 3rd best record in the majors in mid-May. They've had the worst record in the American League since. Entering today, had the largest deficit in the Central that they'd seen since May of 2011. 8 games back of the Royals, who lost earlier to Toronto. The Tigers will need to come back to avoid losing themselves. 2-1.
And all of that makes you wonder what the next step will be for this ball club. Will they become sellers at the deadline? It'd be fascinating to see. Right? This was an organization and a team that was favored and looked upon as a team that had a good chance to win this division. The Royals have been great. The Twins have been good. The Tigers have really struggled, especially as of late. You just wonder if they're going to change direction. They certainly have some pieces. David Price is a free agent after the year. There are a lot of teams that would like to get their hands on him, and probably teams that were never expecting him to be available. And we just have to wonder for Dave Dombrowski if he's at least listening and taking those phone calls. They have a little bit of time here, but if he doesn't get better quick, he could be on the move.
Krause down on strikes. Dunsing begins the 8th with a punch out. Tonight, one of the most anticipated nights in the UFC this summer begins on Fox Sports 1 with a full card of hard-hitting action. It includes a welterweight showdown. 5th-ranked Matt Brown, Tim Means go at it. Coverage of the UFC 189 prelims begins tonight, 7 Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. Streaming live on Fox Sports Go. So Dunsing retires the left-hander Krause. Back into the bullpen goes Paul Molitor. Former Tiger Casey Fiend is the 4th Twins pitcher today. 1 gone in the 8th inning. He gets Nick Castellanos and begins him with strike 1.
You see the numbers on the year, and another reliever that comes in again with the lower strikeouts per 9 innings, just 15 and 27.
Off the corner with that breaking ball and has Castellanos in a hole. Double was in the 4th. Came in to score. A 3-run inning. Tigers had cut it to 7-4 after 5 innings before Torrey Hunter's 2-run shot in the 6th gave the Twins some more breathing room. Just misses. Ball 1. It's a 1-2. Foul tipped into the mid, strike 3. Casey Fiend strikes out Nick Castellanos to begin his day.
Very nice job there by Fiend. Had a really good 0-2 pitch that ultimately was taken for a ball through the breaking ball, and then came back here with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball low in the zone. Castellanos is able to foul tip it, but right into the glove of Kurt Suzuki.
So it's up to James McCann to keep the inning going. New Tiger Neftali Feliz getting loose. Just signed late hours last night, early hours today, after he was released earlier this year by the Texas Rangers. The Tigers trying to find some help for that bullpen that's been the worst in baseball the last month plus.
Brad Osmond said he's not sure what the role will be to start for Feliz. He has not pitched in a while. It probably would not be high leverage situation. Certainly this is not going to be a high leverage situation if he comes into this game next inning, or you wonder if he's just trying to get a bullpen in, because it has been a while. When you go through that situation where you get designated for assignment, when you get let go, you can certainly get a little bit rusty during the season. But it would be a nice surprise. This is a guy that used to be a closer that has gotten it done in the past, but he hasn't pitched in a game since July 3rd. Actually threw the ball well. 2 shutout innings. Last 3 to 3rd, he had not allowed a run. He really wasn't that bad in May, but didn't pitch in June.
3-1 on McCann. Well, he's a former All-Star. Used to be the Rangers closer. Some of those playoff runs for Texas. (3-1) to James McCann. Ball 4. The Tigers with a 2-out base runner against Fiend, and up comes Jose Iglesias.
Certainly not what Casey Fiend wanted to do there with 2 outs and nobody on, and Kurt Suzuki goes out. Just give him a quick little breather. He hasn't been in this game for very long. Just kind of reset, make sure he's staying focused. We'll be able to finish this inning right now with Iglesias and not get to Rajay Davis. Let him lead off the next inning.
Justin Verlander, his start last night, an encouraging one, although it was overshadowed by the incredible Twins comeback with a 7-run 9th inning to even the series at a game apiece. And was, if it hadn't already been forgotten, it was probably forgotten with Alfredo Simon's outing. 2 1/3. Up 7 runs on 10 hits today, with the Tigers in a huge hole.
Really unfortunate, obviously, to lose that game, but to also waste a really good Justin Verlander outing. That just would have been a very nice win, you know, all around for the Tigers as they were waiting for Verlander to have that first good start. He did last night. Threw the ball well. The velocity was really good late in the game. That was an encouraging sign. The spin on the breaking ball looked much better than it had up to this point, and even going back to last year where he had an off year. The bullpen was just unable to hold that big lead.
Fiend with an 0-2 to Iglesias. Do it again. Iglesias 1 for 10 in this series. One of the hardest players in the American League to strike out is down in the count 0-2. Suzuki sets away. And a breaking ball fouled off. Iglesias showing some of that 2-strike ability. The game's 0-2.
You could see him being short into the ball, and it was actually a breaking pitch that hung in the middle. He's expecting something on the corner and trying to fight it off. And that kind of swing tells me he's trying to take that ball to right field, not trying to do too much. With 2 strikes, find a way to keep the at-bat alive, keep the inning alive. For Fiend, better location on this 0-2 pitch than that last one.
Fastball was elevated and fouled. 3rd consecutive pitch fouled off by Iglesias. Fiend was a Tiger 2009, 2010. Now in his 4th season in Minnesota. Struck out Castellanos. Walked McCann. And readies for another 0-2 to Jose Iglesias. Heck of an at-bat for Iglesias. Finishes with a base hit. So 2 on with 2 out. Rajay Davis.
Well, you said it. That was a terrific at-bat. You think about being down 0-2, fouling off a hanging breaking pitch. Then the fastball that was up. This is another one that is just too good 0-2. You see him catch it out front and being short. You see him out on his front leg a little bit more, and his weight is there because it is that 2-strike situation. He's not trying to pull a ball or drive a ball. He's just looking for something that he could handle. A very good at bat by Jose Iglesias.
His first hit of the day keeps it alive for Davis. He's got a couple of hits. Takes a fastball strike. Well, Davis could reach. Detroit would bring the tying run to the plate here in the 8th inning. The form of Ian Kinsler at the top of the order. Strike 2.
Fiend back in an 0-2 count again. Let's see if he adjusts here. If he throws that breaking ball, you want it down off the plate. Try to get that swing and miss. Let's see what the call is here.
Set outside and go upstairs with a fastball, but Davis lays off. Ball 1. Fiend to Davis with a 1-2. That ball's crushed to left. Rosario's on the move to run it down. Hard hit, but no damage against Fiend. A 9-5 Twins lead. And Torrey Hunter set the lead off the next inning. Crushed that 2-run shot his last time. What does he have in store for the bottom of the 8th? Twins opened up a big gap early, had a 7-0 lead. They lead 9-5 to the bottom of the 8th. And Neftali Feliz makes his Tigers debut. Numbers weren't horrible in Texas before he was released, and the Tigers picked him up just last night. Delivers ball 1 to Torrey Hunter.
The Tigers certainly look at this as a low-risk signing for them. Not much to lose here, trying to recapture something from a guy who was a former closer, you mentioned it, a former all-star, pitching some big situations for the Rangers over the years, and they're desperate for arms. And so the Tigers now give Neftali Feliz an opportunity to maybe capture one of those roles, because they need one. They need guys to step up late in the game. They don't have it right now.
This is 1-1 to Hunter. Fouled off 1-2. Last time up for Hunter with the Tigers clawing away. They had it down to 7-4. He absolutely unloaded in a Buck Farmer pitch.
That was a fun one to watch, and even more fun if you're Torrey Hunter. Third deck here at Target Field, a no-doubter.
Sun's out, guns out, man.
Still got a little something in there, old timer.
Waits on this 1-2. And softly hit the third. Castellanos bare hands and throws late. You better believe he's got a little something left. 39 years old with a 2-run shot a couple of innings ago, and now an infield single.
Unbelievable. You have a probably, what, 400-foot, 420-foot home run to go with a 70-foot single. Nick Castellanos is playing back a little bit. Torrey Hunter catches the top half of the ball. On the Feliz fastball, he has no chance but the barehanded. He does. Not a ton on this throw. And if it was accurate, they may have had him. He comes off the bag. Torrey Hunter still got a little bit left in the wheels, those soon-to-be 40-year-old legs. A little bit. Enough is right.
It's all relative. Joe Mauer. Ball 1. Guys have been facing each other for years. Mauer, 12th season, all in Minnesota. Feliz, 7th big league season. First game that he's pitched in a jersey other than a Rangers jersey. 1-1.
And that's always a different experience for a lot of guys. And for Feliz, part of the reason that he ended up here was because of the injuries that he had. Tommy John surgery a couple of years ago. He had an issue as well with I believe it was an abscess that he had on his right side, and so there's been some issues for him on the health side, and trying to recapture him being the same guy that he was in Texas when he had those good years. Health obviously not a concern. The velocity is there, which has been encouraging. That last one, 97 miles an hour.
This is 1-2 to Joe Mauer. Fouled off. Look at those speeds coming out with the adrenaline. His first Tigers outing.
It doesn't matter who you are and how long you've been around. Anytime you go to a new team, you always want to make an impression on your new teammates, on your new coaching staff, on your new fan base. And even though on the outside you may not see it on Neftali Feliz's face, he absolutely is feeling some adrenaline even in this game. And he trails by 4 here pitching in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Mauer is 1 for 4 today. Now 22 hits since the last week of June. And depending on results from around the league today, may or may not still lead the league, but coming into the day, more hits than anybody in the American League over the last few weeks. Krause has that one. It's a fair ball. Hunter stopped between first and second, understanding that it was now a tag play, and the double play is completed, 2 away.
Torrey Hunter looked like he was going to try to have a little bit of fun with Mark Krause, and that would have been a fun race to watch, especially maybe in Torrey's heyday, but ultimately gives up and realizes he's probably not going to get out of that jam and that pickle. Doesn't make the doesn't make the Detroit Tigers work too hard.
You mentioned it. Feliz, former Rookie of the Year, was an All-Star in 2010, then went through Tommy John surgery. And the Rangers designated him for assignment, declined a minor league assignment and was picked up by the Tigers.
If you're wondering how that works for a guy like Phillies, he comes into the season with 4 years and 151 days of service time. He passed the 5-year mark during this season. So he is in that situation. Once you're up over 5 years, he can decline the assignment, and the Texas Rangers still have to pay him, and he becomes a free agent. If he was under 5 years, had they done it before he reached the 5-year mark, then he would have to take the assignment to collect his salary. He's making $4.1 million this year. So the Tigers only have to pay him the prorated part of the minimum salary to retain him, which is $507,000, so about half of that. $250,000 risk, very easy one to take if you're the Detroit Tigers in this situation. I hope I got that right.
I think you nailed it. Professor Nitkowski.
Well, if I didn't, I'll hear about it very soon on Twitter. That's usually how it works.
Ding, ding, ding. 2-1. A guy that knows a little something about being a prospect. Del Sano swings through it, 2-2. Phillies faces a minimum in his Tigers debut and finishes off Sano with a 98-mile-per-hour fastball onto the ninth. Last chance for the Tigers onto the ninth inning. Twins in front 9-5. We see Jay Nitkowski, Joe Davis back at Target Field in Minneapolis. Top of the Tigers order against the All-Star Glenn Perkins, who's kind enough to join us earlier today. This is not a save situation, but he's been perfect in save situations this year.
He's having a fantastic year. And you look at the ERA, the walks, the strikeouts. That was something we talked about with him before the game. And there are the legs of Torrey Hunter still getting it done.
What a day for him, huh?
Unbelievable day. The big home run, beating out an infield hit, and a really nice job on that play right there. This looked like it was going to get down off the bat. Kinsler didn't hit it hard. It was sinking kind of fast, and that's the former center fielder, 7-time Gold Glove winner, Torrey Hunter.
crowd with an extended ovation for him. Yoenis Cespedes now. He attacks the first one, fouls it off against Perkins, who's not given up a run since May. Big league season. Minnesota native to Stillwater High School, and then there's a Golden Gopher, first round pick, 2004. Think of Joe Mauer when you think of the hometown boy, but Perkins won in his own right. A fly ball to right for Torrey Hunter, 2 up and 2 down.
We heard Glenn Perkins talking to us earlier about wanting to fill the strike, so not wanting to walk guys, and he's done such a great job in his first one of the year after going 19 games to start the season without a walk. He said it was kind of an intentional walk. He knows how to pick his spots, but it's an easy thing to say if you don't want to walk hitters. It's a completely different thing to go out and do it at the rate that he's done. It's been incredible. Him and Phil Hughes, both who started this game, just so good inside the strike zone.
Jeffrey Marte is in for Victor Martinez, who's thrown out of the game for arguing balls and strikes, as Marte now does with Marty Foster. Well, the Tigers won game 1 of this series 4-2 on Thursday night, and it looked like Brad Osmus' team was headed for an easy win last night as well. They saw a 6-0 lead disappear. Twins scoring 7 runs in the 9th to win it, and a strike away from taking a 2-1 series advantage. Perkins makes quick work of the Tigers in the 9th. And Minnesota's taken 2 of the first 3 against their division rivals. Twins have won 5 of 6 for the first time since that monster month of May. And gain a game in the Central on the Royals, now within 4.5 of KC, heading into the final day of the first half. For C.J. Nitkowski and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long. Now here's Kevin Burkhardt.